You felt it your entire life, that there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there. You can feel it.
Get up on out the bed and start to move your balls. Pick up a word in Solomon Jones. Word. You better wake up now.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you to another edition of Wake Up with Word. Well, Kawesa, just in time for my birthday, we're getting another lockdown. That's all I wanted for my birthday was a lockdown, Kawesa. In Pennsylvania on Saturday, a whole bunch of stuff is going to be closing. Gyms, school activities, stores at half capacity. Everything's going to be shutting down. So as far as me like going out for dinner or anything like that, might as well forget that. So happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday. Yay.
Lord have mercy, man. This pandemic is absolutely crazy. Stuff just shutting down. You know, you just never know. And so I am glad that we have become, I don't know, almost like doomsday preppers. You ever see that show?
I have. I've seen it because you were telling me. I think you said your son watches it, and so now I'm like, let me get myself prepared. I got to be, I got to be on it.
Now they crazy. They crazy, but not so much. Not now. When you think about now, and you think about the doomsday preppers, and they got all the stuff in their house, and they got, they got all kinds of stuff. They got weapons, they got water, they got guns, they got generator, they got all kind of stuff in their house. They got enough food to last until, I don't know, a year or whatever. They don't look so crazy now, do they?
They don't. They look real sane right now. They sure do.
So a whole lot of stuff shutting down tomorrow. So you might want to get out today, get to the store or whatever, because stores are going to be at 50% capacity, meaning the lines are going to be kind of long. And but you know what? Even with all of that, yesterday, as COVID-19 cases continued to rise, America got a dose of hope. A government advisory panel endorsed widespread use of Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine, putting the country just one step away from launching a vaccination campaign against an outbreak that's killed nearly 300,000 Americans. Shots could begin within days, depending on how quickly the FDA signs off on the committee's recommendation. The government advisors concluded that the vaccine appears safe and effective for emergency use in adults and teens, as long as they're 16 and older. And yes, there were 2 people who had allergic reactions earlier this week when Britain started dispensing the shot. But experts believe the vaccine's benefits outweigh the risks. And frankly, the decision came just in the nick of time, with more than 3,100 COVID-19 deaths in America on Wednesday alone. So we'll wait and see how safe and effective the vaccine is. We'll listen to the doctors who've walked us through this pandemic. We'll lean on trusted voices to get us to the other side, because Black folks have suffered enough in this pandemic. Now it's time for us to rise up on hope. We got a hot show for you today on Wake Up with Word. NPR's Scott Horsley joins us to talk about the rise in unemployment claims just as critical aid programs are set to expire. WHYY's Taylor Allen on the passage of a new construction tax and bills to keep the tax abatement in place. Financial consultant Akbar Hassan answers your money questions. And as always, we've got you, our listeners, calling in at 215-634-8065. It's toll free, 1-866-361-0900. Hit us on Twitter and Instagram at onWURD, or you could hit me personally at Solomon Jones 1. Watch us on Facebook at onWURD. But first, it's the big 3, the news stories you need to know to kick off your day right here on Wake Up with Word. Story number 1, City Council on Thursday, as expected, passed a new 1% construction tax on residential construction. They say it's to help finance Council President Darrell Clark's initiative to fight poverty and increase access to affordable housing. The approval of the new tax, which will take effect in January 2022, came in Council's last meeting of the year, a busy section in which lawmakers also adopted major changes to the property tax abatement program, a controversial zoning map for the Strawberry Mansion neighborhood, and legislation aimed at protecting Black and brown workers in the service industry who were laid off during the coronavirus pandemic. The construction tax was approved 14-3, part of a package of 3 bills that passed despite opposition from the development industry. Thanks to a deal brokered by Clark, the mayor involved as well. The tax was opposed by council's two Republicans, Brian O'Neill and David O., as well as Alan Dom, a Democrat and a condo magnate. So here's the thing, right? Because so they passed this package of bills. One of the bills in the package was to delay the implementation of changes to the tax abatement, right? And so you can talk about the construction tax, because the way that this person reported it's all about the construction tax. For me, it's not all about the construction tax. It's about everything else around it. It's about passing a bill that basically reverses what you did before concerning getting rid of that tax abatement, which is unfair, which robs the schools of money, which allows regular everyday Joes to pay their whole property tax, while people who can afford new construction only pay a portion of their property tax. And all the while, the money comes out of money that's supposed to go to the schools. How is that something to celebrate? That's what I'm trying to understand. So that's one. Then you got a construction tax that is on everybody except the people who can most afford to pay it. You make an exemption for the commercial builders not to have to pay this construction tax. Well, they the people with the most money, right? That's not fair. And then you say it's for, this $400 million anti-poverty program, which really is a housing program. And who builds the houses? Well, the people that you negotiated with to put this in place, the building trades, the developers. They're going to make money on this. That's why they allowed it to pass. So don't the whole opposition, we was opposed to this. Oh, but y'all giving us this? Cool. Go ahead, do it. You understand what I'm saying? Come on, man. It's horse trading, and we'll see. Maybe that $400 million will actually, about $1 million of it will make it to the people. Who knows? But what I know is this, that when you are not actually giving money to people in poverty, when you're not actually giving better jobs to people in poverty, when you're not actually lifting up people in poverty, it's not an anti-poverty program. So we'll see, what happens with it. But this was their last session of the year, and this is what happened. So, Kwesa, what do you think?
My personal opinion on it is that I am disgusted with it. I think maybe because of the fact that I have a very soft spot for kids, right? I feel that the children here in this city deserve the best. They deserve the best type of education. They deserve to be able to go to school where it's not rat infested, where they got toilet paper, where they are not breathing in asbestos. And yet you continue to keep robbing our kids of money that they deserve and that they need. How in the world are you going to be able to create new leadership and create new people to run this city and create people to go out there and be the best that they can be, and you're not even giving them money to have a proper education? I don't get it. I don't understand that. And a lot of folks in city council are black, and our kids are black, and yet you continue to stomp on our kids. I don't get it. And I don't even live here in the city, but I am furious about it. But that's where I'm at.
Yeah. They should get all the money that they need for the schools, and they don't. And I go into schools. I've seen the schools. There's a school where I volunteer in my community, right? And they had the school painted. Don't you know all those painters were white? And the school is in West Oak Lane. How you couldn't find one black painter? They had, and this is what happens with these contracts. So it's even when the money is there, the money still doesn't go to the community. That's a problem. And that's why my main question, and that's going to be my question, from now on, right, is who gets the money? And if the answer's not right, then we're going to raise hell. That's what we're going to do. Bottom line, story number 2, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says that fundamental problems of inequality and discrimination are putting black Americans at higher risk of contracting the coronavirus and also making COVID-19 deadlier for them, according to an internal agency report obtained by Yahoo News. The CDC's COVID-19 science update dated December 4th and marked for agency use only builds on previous work the agency has done on racial disparities but is the starkest in terms of its conclusions about the causes of those disparities, providing a sweeping indictment of a healthcare and economic system that disadvantages Black Americans during the pandemic in myriad ways. Unfortunately, discrimination, which includes racism, exists in systems meant to protect well-being or health, the CDC report says. Discrimination can lead to chronic and toxic stress and shape social and economic factors that put some people from racial and ethnic minority groups at increased risk of COVID-19. There is increasing recognition that addressing the underlying inequities in social determinants of health is key to improving health and reducing health disparities. That's not Solomon Jones, that's the CDC in a report that was not supposed to go out to the public. The report says Black Americans face a disproportionate burden of COVID-19 infections, citing states like Pennsylvania, where African Americans make up 11% of the population, but 20% of those infected by the disease. Lord have mercy. Kuwaisa, what do you think?
Oh, thanks, CDC, for telling us what we already knew. Appreciate it. But yeah, we knew this. We knew this. I mean, I don't know about you, Solomon, but I know that there are times that I just wake up and I'm like, you know, I'm happy I'm Black. I'm so happy that I'm Black, but there are times that I'm like, yo, I know the world is out to get me. And that stress, that weighs heavy on my shoulders. You know what I mean? And so you can't tell me that we are not constantly facing these types of stressors every single day because of the color of our skin. And so, of course, when we're talking about how COVID disproportionately affects our people, we know this to be the case, you know, so it's not surprising to me. Thanks so much for leaking the information, but it's something, you know, we knew. we knew.
Yeah, we absolutely did, and it's a shame they had to cite our state, Pennsylvania, as the place to prove the point. Lord have mercy. Speaking of people being out to get Black folks, story number 3, my commentary for the day. There's been a lot of talk about defunding police to pay for social workers and mental health professionals, mostly because police keep shooting Black people. Those shootings are wrong, they're racist, and they need to be dealt with. But if we're going to take funding from the police in Philly, there's another reason to do it, and that reason is just as important. The police in Philadelphia are not solving the crimes that matter most. The Inquirer analyzed shootings that took place in Philadelphia over the last 5 years, and in 8,500 shootings since 2015, suspects were convicted just 9% of the time. That means if you shoot somebody in Philadelphia, you got a great chance of getting away with it, and that's especially true if you shoot a young Black man. Since 2015, almost 2,700 young Black men were wounded in shootings, but suspects were only convicted in 6% of their cases. White men of the same age were 3 times as likely to see their shooters convicted. That's constant, that's systemic, that's racism, and we can no longer sit still while the cops act like it's our fault. They're not doing their jobs. Witnesses don't come forward because they don't feel safe. And they don't feel safe because in Philadelphia, if someone shoots you and you're Black, they're almost guaranteed to get away with it. That's not on the community. That's on the police. They're not working hard enough to solve murders in Black communities, and now we have the numbers to prove it. So if we defund the police, it won't be just because cops shoot Black people and get away with it. It will be because anybody can shoot Black people and get away with it. And if Black lives matter, we must not let our murderers walk free. I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are in these various things we are talking about on this morning's show. We have a system where Black lives don't matter. You know, and that's why people are so opposed to that phrase, Black Lives Matter. It's a simple statement that means exactly what it says. Black lives matter. It doesn't mean Black lives matter more than yours. It doesn't mean Black lives are the only lives that matter. It doesn't mean white lives don't matter. Doesn't mean any of that, right? But the pushback against that is because we are in a society that is predicated on the belief that Black lives do not matter, that you can take away the money that's supposed to go to educate Black schools and it don't matter, that you can allow Black people to be killed in the street and never find their murderers because Black lives don't matter. that you can give contracts to white companies in black communities in black schools because black lives don't matter. That you can have a pandemic where we are 11% of the population in Pennsylvania, but 20% of the COVID cases because black lives don't matter. Black lives don't matter in healthcare. Black lives don't matter in criminal justice. Black lives don't matter in economics. Black lives don't matter in education. That is why you can have people being killed in Philadelphia and only 9% of them are convicted when it's a young black man who's shot. That's crazy. But it's because in our society, black lives don't matter. And if you don't believe me, ask anybody who has had a relative murdered in the city of Philadelphia. Did the cops work hard on their case? Did they show compassion for the victim? Did they come to their house? Did they follow up on their calls? Did they act like they was bugging them when they called and asked what's going on with the case? Ask anybody that's had to deal with that. Don't ask me, because thank God I haven't. But the reality is that in our society, we live in a society that's predicated on the belief that black lives don't matter. And so we need to talk about that, because the only way that you could have all of these young black men shot and only have convictions in 9% of the cases, it's not just all about the witnesses. But guess what? The witnesses is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because if I know that if somebody shoots me as a witness, they're going to get away with it, then why should I testify? If I should know that you don't care about my life as a witness, why should I testify? If I should know that there's no protection for me as a witness, why should I testify? You herded us into communities where we all live together in poverty. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows your baby mama, your kids, your daddy. So if they can't get you, they'll get one of them. If you can't protect the witnesses who testify and really don't care to protect the witnesses who testify, then don't blame the witnesses. It's not about a don't snitch culture and all of that nonsense. No, it's about you not doing your job. Bottom line, we live in a society where there are cameras everywhere. There are cameras in the corner store. There are cameras on light poles. There are cameras on traffic lights. There are cameras everywhere. You mean to tell me you can't use those cameras to solve some of these crimes? You mean to tell me you can't talk to people in secret to solve some of these crimes? Why is it that when a chief inspector's son gets killed, you immediately find the shooter? But when somebody in the neighborhood gets killed, I'm sorry, we don't have no witnesses. Come on, man. Y'all operate, in many ways like a gang, where the only lives that matter are the lives in the gang. Nobody else matters. And so what the numbers show is that you work harder on cases when it's somebody white than you do when it's somebody black. If there's any reason to take funding away and give it to somebody else, it's that. It's that. So I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on any of these things that we are talking about on this morning show. We are going to go to break, and on the other side, we're going to take your calls. We're going to take your Facebook comments right here on WURD.
This health and humanitarian crisis has shaken us all, as neighbors and as a nation. At Bank of America, we came together as a company and as a community with an unwavering commitment to advance racial equality and economic opportunity. We're thankful for the tireless efforts of our employees, partners, healthcare, and essential workers in the communities we serve. And we remain fully committed to the work ahead in 2021. Bank of America N.A., member FDIC, equal credit opportunity lender.
COVID-19 affected many things this year, including regular vaccinations. Vaccines are safe, effective, and protect against serious diseases. Make sure you and your family are up to date on all vaccinations. Together, we can keep each other safe and healthy. Let's stay protected together. Get vaccinated today. For more information, visit health.pa.gov. paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Want the latest in Word swag? Check out the shop tab on WURDradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on WURDradio.com. Show the world that you're all about black. Talk Media. He's back.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton.
Keeping it real with the Reverend Al Sharpton.
In times like these, we have to stay connected.
At a brand new time, Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. till midnight.
I'm excited that Keeping It Real returns to WURD.
Keeping it real with the Reverend Al Sharpton. Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. till midnight. This program is pre-recorded. No phone calls, please.
Keep it locked to WURD 96.1 FM, 900 AM. WURDradio.com.
Now, a traffic update on Word Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Staples Stores. A couple of busy spots here in Philadelphia. Schuylkill Expressway westbound near Janville University through the Vine Expressway. Ongoing construction. The reason west of that, not bad. Eastbound side, still a light route Montgomery through Girard, westbound Vine Expressway. Delays 8th out through Broad. Again, getting heavy Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. Still a disabled tractor trailer there off to the shoulder. Southbound 95, Jam Cotman through Bridge through a work zone. Again, Betsy Ross through Girard, northbound moving fine. 55 north, Deptford into 42 now getting busy. Staples has cards and invitations to help you connect with clients and loved ones. Choose from hundreds of holiday templates to customize. Now get 30% off custom holiday cards and invitations. Offer ends 12/19/20, limit 1. Visit staples.com/holiday cards or store for details. Staples. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Back by popular demand. It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. And I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. And we got to have an uncomfortable conversation this morning because what the numbers show is that that we were right all the time, that the murders in black communities are not being solved. And in my view, it's because of racism. It's because the police are not working as hard to solve the murders in our community as they would if it were one of their own, right? And the numbers bear that out. The qualitative evidence bears that out. Our experience bears that out. And the end result bears that out. And so the question now is, how do we move forward? Because it's not just about police shooting black people. That is a relatively rare occurrence as compared to black people being shot by everybody else, right? But the problem is that not only do police get away with shooting black people, everybody gets away with shooting black people. That's a problem. That's the issue. And the question is, now that we know that, how do we then move forward? Why is it that the lives of young black men don't matter? Why is it that since 2015 in Philadelphia, almost 2,700 young black men were wounded in shootings, but suspects were only convicted in 6% of their cases? Why is it that when white men are the same age as shot, that they're 3 times as likely to see their shooters convicted? That's constant. That's systemic. That's racism. And if we sit here knowing that, and allowing the police and society and the media to act like it's our fault, when in reality they're not doing their jobs, then guess what? That's on us. Oh, y'all got to stop with that no snitch culture. Well, let's dig in to the no snitch culture, because no snitching implies that everybody's in on the crime, right? You're a snitch if you're involved in the crime and you tell. That's a snitch, right? But if you're just somebody in the community and you are being impacted by this and you call the police, guess what? You're doing your duty as a citizen. So to pretend that this is about some kind of no snitch culture as if everybody is in on the crime is a lie. That's number one. But number two is this. If we know experientially, if we know from our experience, right, that if you're a witness, your life is in danger and there's nobody in the system to protect you, then why would you testify and put not only yourself but your family's lives in danger? Because of racism, we live in communities that were formerly red line communities, right? Places where banks would not invest, places where black people were forced into these ghettos, places where we all know each other for generations going back, right? And so the killer knows not only you, but your family. They know your baby's mama. They know your mama. They know your wife. They know your kids. They know everybody in your family. So not only are you in danger, but your family is in danger because of the proximity of our communities that we were forced into by racism. That's two. But then three is the fact that if you shoot someone black in Philadelphia, you are almost 100% likely to get away with it. And so this is not about some no snitch culture as if everybody is in on the crime. They are not. The vast majority of black people, whether they are rich or poor, go to work every day, pay their bills, take care of their kids, do the same things that everybody else does. It's about looking out for your own life. So if you know that that is the case, then adjust your policing to deal with the fact that the witnesses are not safe. They're not, and you're not going to make them safe. And so you have to deal with that fact, adjust your policing. How come when the pandemic comes, we can adjust everything in this society to do it online? But over years and decades of killings in black communities, you can't adjust your policing over decades to figure out how to solve these crimes. Something's wrong. It means you don't care. It's not about the witnesses. It's about you. Because if a chief inspector's son can get shot in Philadelphia and a couple days later they got the killer, why can't you do that for everybody? It's because you don't care. It's because your attitude toward that is different than your attitude towards us. That's the bottom line. This whole thing is predicated on the fact that in our society, black lives don't matter. So now we have the numbers. The question is, what do we do about it? I want to know what you think. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning's show. Also want to talk about the bills that were passed in City Council yesterday. They tell us that it's all about putting together a $400 million program that's going to be so helpful to poor people in Philadelphia. But my question, as always, is who gets the money? So if it's an affordable housing program where you're going to build housing, well, who gets paid to build the housing? In any big program in the city of Philadelphia where building is involved, the building trades are mandated by executive order to get that work. And every time that they do this, they say, oh, we're going to make sure that more black and brown people get into it. We're going to make sure that more women get into it. We're going to make sure that more of your companies get contracts. And it never happens. So my question is, who gets the money? right? Who gets the money to do the systems repairs in houses? Is it the building trades? Because they usually get the money to do that stuff too. Who gets the money to run a rental assistance program? Who gets the money to do the legal work on the bond issue? Who gets the money? Law firms get the money to do the legal work on the bond issues, right? The building trades get the money to build the housing. Developers get the money to put together yeah, they willing to do a 1% construction tax that, by the way, exempts the developers with the most money. Yeah, of course they are, because they get an extension of the tax abatement, which that money's supposed to be going to the schools. Instead, it goes to developers and gentrifiers. And they willing to give up the 1% construction tax. Now, everything that happened in city council this week and this year has not been bad, right? My council person, Sherelle Parker, put some legislation in place to make sure that when they get this work, they have to give up the composition of who does the work, right? Now, that's nice. That's good, right? That's progress, because what it means is that you are now forced to say, do you have black people on this job? That's great, right? Isaiah Thomas called yesterday, talked about a bill that they did around making sure that black workers get their just due after being laid off for this pandemic. That's great. The other thing that they did was this: they named a street after Walter P. Lomax Jr., MD. Legislators, of course, approved an honorary street naming Dr. Walter P. Lomax Jr., a physician who treated Martin Luther King and founded WURD. The 1800 block of Wharton Street in the Point Breeze neighborhood, where Lomax had his medical practice for more than 3 decades, will have the honorary name of Walter P. Lomax Jr., MD Way. That's great, and that's needed, and that's good. And so we honor that. We also got to talk about, though, some of the other stuff that's happened. We got to talk about that. So I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. I know that the Lomax family and Sarah Lomax, of course, is very proud to have a street named after their father and husband and, of course, the founder of WURD. I'm proud of that as well. And I think that that's a great accomplishment. So we should take a minute to really celebrate that. We also have to talk about some of the other stuff that has been done that I'm sure Dr. Lomax would not be happy about, and seeing some of the stuff where black people ain't getting the money. He was all about making sure that black people had opportunities. And we need to make sure that black people have opportunities. That's why I do what I do. That's why I say what I say. That's why, we got to call out some of this stuff, man. To honor our ancestors who went before us, to honor those who laid the groundwork, to honor those who sacrificed so much in their lives to make sure that black people after them would have opportunity, that black people after them would have economic success, that black people after them would have some access to education. How are you going to take the money from the school and give it to gentrifiers, man? Talking about you helping the economy. Why would you do that? Why would you allow that? And you black. Come on, man. We can't do that. Some of the other stuff is good, but you can't do that. And I think one of the issues is that many of us in our community don't understand it. And so I'm going to give you a quick primer on property taxes, right? The reason why the school systems in America are unequal is because the money comes from property taxes. So if you live in Lower Merion, where your house is $1, $2, $3 million, you pay more in property taxes, and those property taxes go to the schools. Ain't nobody putting an abatement in the property tax and taking the money out and giving it to somebody else. No, the money goes to the schools. If you live in Philadelphia, where the houses aren't worth as much, right? You have a whole lot of exempt property, whole universities and hospital systems that are exempt, right? Tax exempt, right? And so you've got property that's worth less, And then on top of that, you have a government that then says, let's take some of the money from the property taxes that's supposed to go to the school and give it to developers because we want them to build more houses and pass that break on to richer people who are going to move in. If the property tax is the thing that pays for the schools, and you don't have as much property tax coming in, and you take some of the property tax that is coming in and give it to developers and gentrifiers, then your schools are going to be worse. That's the bottom line. And so we have a school board that is appointed by the mayor, right? Before that, we had a school board where the governor had 3 picks. I think the mayor had 2. And they don't have taxing authority. So the school board can't raise money for itself in Philadelphia, where in every other school board in Pennsylvania, they can. They have taxing authority. They can raise money on their own. And so you have a school system in Philadelphia that's dependent on property taxes, but the money has to be allocated to them by the city because the schools can't raise money for themselves. It's set up to fail. You know what I'm saying? It's set up to fail. It's set up for them to be broke. And then, and this is where I blame the school system, because they give out contracts to people who don't look like the people who go to the schools. Most of the kids in the schools, almost 90% are black and brown, except when you get to the magnet schools. Then like 40% of them are white, right? But overall, almost all of the kids that go to the schools are black and brown. And so why is it that when you give out contracts, you don't give them to black and brown companies? I blame the schools for that, because they're in charge of who gets the contracts, right? And so it's systemic. It's set up that way, man. And so that's why, you know, I'm so angry about the tax abatement. Now, I've had opportunities because, you know, over the years, man, I've had the opportunity to send my kids to private school. I've had an opportunity to send them to public school, but I've got them into magnet schools, and they've done well. Everybody don't have that opportunity, but guess what? Every school should be equal in the public school system, and they're not. And they're not. And so to then, on top of that, take money out for a tax abatement and give it to gentrifiers, man, to move in our communities and push us out, is wrong. It's wrong. So I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. We're going to go to break, and on the other side of the break, we're going to take your calls. Cedra is the first caller. Mike from North Philly, you're second. If you want to get in, it's 215-634-8065. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Dietz & Watson has been making premium meats and artisan cheeses for over 80 years. And when it comes to stacking sandwiches and party platters, they've got something for everyone in the family, like maple honey turkey breast, American cheese, buffalo chicken, and more. So get to your local deli and taste 4 generations of family recipes. With Dietz & Watson on the table, you'll have everyone coming back for seconds and thirds. Dietz & Watson, it's a family thing since 1939.
Tune in every Saturday at 4 p.m. for the Did You Know Show with host Bryant Green, right here on WURD 96.1 FM and 900 AM.
WURD Radio presents the following wellness tip to support our listeners with mindfulness and motivation as we continue to navigate the pandemic together.
Hi, this is Halana, your resident health and wellness coach, with tips to help you stay well. By definition, inspiration is something that gives us new and creative ideas. We often believe that we only need inspiration when we have a goal or a project in mind. However, getting inspired can be easy with a little practice. Try this. Number 1, write down exactly what you truly desire in your life. Number 2, think about solutions to hurdles and challenges you face. Number 3, think about the next best step in your current situation. Staying inspired requires thought, intention, and space to be creative. In fact, allowing inspiration to be present in our lives is something we can practice every day. Go ahead and try. Stay well with WURD. Happy living.
Stay well with WURD. Connect with us at wordradio.com. Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Staples Stores. A couple of busy spots here in Philadelphia. Schuylkill Expressway westbound near Janbuck University through the Vine Expressway. Ongoing construction. The reason west of that, not bad. Eastbound side, still a light ride. Montgomery through Girard. Westbound Vine Expressway. Delays 8th out through Broad. Again, getting heavy Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. Still a disabled tractor trailer there off to the shoulder. Southbound 95, Jam Common through Bridge through a work zone. Again, Betsy Ross through Girard. Northbound moving fine. 55 north. Deptford into 42 now getting busy. Staples has cards and invitations to help you connect with clients and loved ones. Choose from hundreds of holiday templates to customize. Now get 30% off custom holiday cards and invitations. Offer ends 12/19/20. Limit 1. Visit staples.com/holiday cards or store for details. Staples. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Back by popular demand. It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio. 96.1 FM. And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. So hopefully you're watching on Facebook. You can, of course, do that at onWURD. That's FORWURD, FORWURD. That's where you can check us out on Facebook, because I found this little thing that my wife had, Kawesa. And when I looked at it, I immediately thought of Rona. Right?
Oh, God.
Look at this. Look at this.
Oh, no.
Don't that look like Corona?
But he's so cute.
Rona said stay in the house.
Oh, my goodness.
All right? Rona said put your mask on. Put your mask on. That's Yo, I found this yesterday. I could not stop laughing. I couldn't.
Oh, my gosh. That is hilarious.
It looked like a little Rona doll. Look, he got little things on his head. Look at him. That's Corona. Yo, Rona says stay in the house. All right, so that's what's going on. I want to hear from you. Give me a call. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. We're talking about a number of things. The CDC has found that racism is making the outcomes worse for Black people where COVID is concerned. City Council passed a package of bills yesterday, including a 1% construction tax, as well as extension of the tax abatement, and it all is supposed to pay for a $400 million anti-poverty program that is predicated largely on building new housing. And then story number 3, the police not solving the murders of young Black men, specifically, and really murders in Philadelphia and shootings overall. In 8,500 shootings since 2015, suspects were convicted just 9% of the time. That is why you see shootings in Philadelphia in the way that you do, because people believe they can get away with it, and you know what? They're right. I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. Cedra Letitia from Philly is on line 1. Good morning.
Good morning. I've been listening to you for a while, and I'm a senior citizen. And
Yes.
I the way I look at what they're doing in Philadelphia, what they have already done, they move our children, they put schools in, and they take schools out. But the schools that we have in the low-income counties, the school down the street from me, Ferguson, they closed that school up. It was an elementary school. They put teenage children in that school. Then they start building around in the area. After they start building, then they start telling people what they could not do, how they had to live, and where they had, you put your trash out, you can't put your trash out. But then when they moved in, now they put their trash out whenever they want to. We have apartments in here, 4 stories. People moving in. And they're moving the other people out. They're poor people, they're just moving them out. Where are you going to go? What you doing? Babysitting the houses until they move in or until they get you out of it. You can't get no work done on your house. They say if anybody's on your deed, you can't get no work done. I know a lady that's been in her house for over 35 years. Her husband died. She's been looking for her husband's children. She can't find them.
Wow.
So they won't turn it. They won't turn they put her name on the deed at the top, but everybody underneath. And what they told her was, well, you see, if you find the kids, well, you still don't have no rights to sell it because their children and their children have all the rights to the house. I want to know, how can that be? She's been in this house over 35 years paying taxes and keeping it up the best she could.
Was the house in her name or in her husband's name?
It was in her. She had it put in. She went through all the processes to have her name put on the deed. And they said she has 50% owner of the house, but the kids have the other 50% owner. But she can't get no work done to the house.
Yeah, she has that. Well, why can't she get work done to the house? That's the part I don't understand.
They said because the other children's names are on the deed.
Well, she can't sell the house.
That's what I thought. She couldn't sell the house.
She can get work done on her house if she want to.
They won't help her.
Oh, they won't help her get the work done. I see. Okay. Yeah.
So
that's called a tangled title. That's a tangled title because you got all of these people who have rights to it because when we die, we have to have wills.
Yes.
So that there is a paper trail on who gets what when we die. When we don't have wills, we end up with properties with tangled titles where you have all of these people who have rights to it, and if you can't find those people, you can't really move forward. That's the problem. That's what it is. The husband must not have had a will.
Right.
Yeah, well, we got to learn how to do that.
Yes.
We got to learn how to do that. Give Kawesi your number. Let's see if there's somebody in the city who might be able to help, but tangled titles, that's tough. That's tough. So I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD. People, you got to have a will, man, because that's what happens with your property when you die. You got all of these people who have rights to it, and if you can't find them, and you can't move forward. Mike from North Philly is online too. Go ahead, Mike.
Good morning, Solomon. How you doing today, good brother? Hello? 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 Hello?
Here, Mike. Mike?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello?
Go ahead, Mike. I can't. Mike? Okay, we're going to put Mike on hold. Kawesa?
I'm going to get him right back. You were fading in and out there. Hold on a minute.
Okay. All right.
He should be back on.
Okay. Mike?
Yes, how you doing today, good brother?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Listen,
Good.
Solomon, there is racism in everything. That's just how I view it. And this city has totally turned its back on its black residents. I've watched the city go from being a pretty good city over the years to electing these people who don't care nothing about you. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not surprised that the police officers are not solving crimes. Last week or sometime, I called them about somebody breaking into a friend's house. They never showed up. The guy next door beating his dog. I called them. They never show up. I had to give them the phone and ask for a supervisor before it made them come out.
Yeah.
They keep asking me about COVID. I get that, but you're an essential worker. And and I live across the street from a stop and go. They over there selling drugs every day. So I'm calling all the time. The cops never show up. Why should I get involved in? It's crazy. And, with all of the property taxes, the parking authority taxes, the cigarette taxes, the soda taxes, these schools should be thriving.
Yep.
But they don't want to give us nothing because their kids are not going to these schools. So they don't have no skin in the game. They probably got their kids in some private school. And it makes no sense. I don't understand these black politicians who sit here and watch black and brown kids be done like this every day, all day, and do nothing about it. And in closing, I want to say rest in peace to Debo from Friday. He passed away yesterday. They think it was from COVID-like symptoms. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate your call this morning on WURD. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Let's go to Anthony from Delaware on line 3. Go ahead, Anthony.
Good morning, Solomon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am so tired. The reason why people are woke, the reason I'm woke, is because of you, And I want to know when are they going to be coming up to the radio station? We're going to treat the radio station like Congress. We're going to give them invitations. We're going to demand that they come up and explain themselves. You know what I'm saying? And then we're going to keep score. And this is a voting issue. This is an election issue. You know? It ain't about nothing personal. This is business. You know what I'm saying? And I want not retribution, but I want them to be held responsible. We can vote them out. We take out one, and then the other ones. It's a sign of disrespect. I want to know, when are they coming up? Each one devoted for that, and explain themselves, and let the people decide whether they want to vote these people back in or not. That's what I want to hear. When are they coming on the radio station?
I think it's about more than just the radio station, but you know, I think it really is. It's about putting the information out, and you know, if they want to come, of course, we always invite them. If they want to come, they can certainly do so. But I think it's about more than that. I think it's about publicly, however they do it, you know, explaining who gets the money. Bottom line, and you know, you've already passed it; it's already done, right? And so there are some alternatives. One alternative, of course, is the voting booth. The other alternative is making sure that the money that's already going to be spent, right, that the money actually goes to the people who need it and not to those who don't, right? So it shouldn't just be an affordable housing program where the building trades get paid to build housing. You know what I mean? They get paid, you get debt. Like, it's what? Nah, the people of Philadelphia, the poor people in Philadelphia should get that money. You know, we've got housing programs in Philadelphia where if you are an individual and you make $80,000, you can qualify for that housing program. You're not poor. If you're a family of four and you make $115,000, you can qualify for that housing program. You're not poor. You know, if it's really about poverty, then poor people should get the money. Poor people should get the jobs. Poor people should be lifted up. Poor people should have the economic advantage from it. And certainly, you know, the invitation is there. And so we'll see what happens going forward with this. But the invitation is there, Anthony, and we will make sure that we continue to extend it. So thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go to, oh, Lord, 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let's go to Rita from South Philly on line 1. Go ahead, Rita.
Oh, I thought I was one of your favorite people.
Okay. Go ahead, Rita.
No. What did I steal this time?
I don't know.
Okay. I wanted to ask the question.
Okay.
If we have a crisis with the coronavirus, how come they're not setting up hospitals, emergency hospitals?
That's a good question. They had one set up at Temple, at the Leah Corr Center on the first, you know, when it first happened. But then they shut it down when you know, the number of infections went down. We'll see if they set it back up.
Now, ask yourself this question. Not just Philadelphia. This should be set up all across the country. Okay? Now, also they're telling you that the first people to die from it died much sooner than they thought. Here's why. If you look and see, a virus of this nature does not come in spring and summer. It comes in winter. So all of a sudden, this coronavirus act like a virus that's smoking crack and did stuff it was not supposed to do. So people got to understand that there's something very, very wrong here. So that's why they try to backdate it. Now, here's another thing, Solomon. You might not like me, but I'm necessary. Here's what
I didn't say I don't like you. I never said that.
You said, oh, Lord. Okay.
I said, oh, Lord, because I know you're going to say something that ain't got nothing to do with what we're talking about. But go ahead.
Well,
go ahead.
So stop.
I'm waiting for it. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I want to say this, though. This is important.
Mm-hmm.
People have gotten used to the Internet, going on YouTube, saying this and saying that. Now they're finding out that you cannot do that. Here's another thing, Solomon. Certain things you can't research. All of a sudden what you're doing, it just disappears. But you can have a sex pervert get on that Internet, go after women, men, children, and they don't do anything about it. put into that internet. And that's how come I really wasn't excited about it. I say because this is a trick. And you see how they're beginning to slam the hand down. Different things you cannot say. Different things
You wasn't
you cannot
excited about what?
If you say, okay, the latest thing is you can't give your opinion on the election, whether it was stolen or not. Okay, you are entitled to your opinion, okay? All of us are. Do you agree with that? Huh?
Do I agree with what?
That everyone is entitled to their opinion.
Yeah, everyone certainly is entitled to their opinion, but I don't have to air your opinion if I don't want to.
No.
I mean, that's not. I'm not a political figure, so I have no obligation, right, to air your opinion if it's out of line. I don't.
Okay.
I have no
Here's
obligation to
something
do
we
that.
need to do, too.
But everybody certainly has their right to their opinion. Yes.
And one more thing, Solomon. It's Christmas. For those of you who can spare the money, because a lot of families can't, go to the stores and buy the children some toys. You don't need another fur coat. You don't need another pair of high-heel shoes. The men, you don't need another designer suit. You don't need another car. Take that money and buy toys and stuff, and the elderly people. Some of them don't have nothing or nobody coming to do anything for them.
All right,
That's
Rita,
what
thank
we
you for your
should be
call. We
looking
got to
out
go because we are like 2 minutes before 8 o'clock. So we got to go to break. On the other side, we are going to talk with our first guest. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Do you want to help kids in foster care? CASA Youth Advocates is seeking volunteers of color to advocate for the youth they serve. 50% of kids in the Delaware and Chester County foster care system are children of color, yet only 9% of CASA Youth Advocate volunteers are people of color. Children in foster care greatly benefit from advocates who look like and can relate to them. They desperately need more volunteers of color. Visit delcocasa.org for more info. That's www.delcocasa.org. Tune in Saturdays from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. to hear Empire Capital and Consulting founder Mark Palmer's show titled Black Money, Black Power. This show centers around black money and how black power is derived from money. Tune in every Saturday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Black Money, Black Power, hosted by Mark Palmer.
Want to buy black for the holidays?
WURD Radio has got you covered. WURD is proud to present our virtual holiday marketplace online. Support local, small, black-owned businesses through the marketplace and purchase your holiday gifts today. Visit wordradio.com/marketplace or wordworks.com/marketplace.
A holiday message to help us all and answer an important question.
We will never know how many of our friends and family members didn't get COVID-19 because we followed safeguards. We'll never know that number. This is Dan Hilferty, CEO of Independence Blue Cross, with a simple reminder of how much good we do for others when we protect ourselves. We'll never know how many lives we save because we wear masks, wash our hands frequently, and keep social distance. We'll never know exactly who we help, who we save when we take protective steps each day. We'll only know one thing for certain, that we did all we could to save people from the effects of a pandemic with the potential to overwhelm the region. And that's a nice thing for us to live with. Thank you all. For more on what you can do, visit ibx.com. Together, we are beating COVID-19.
Lifting every voice till earth and heaven ring. This is WURD Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Black Talk Media. Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Staples Stores. A couple of busy spots here in Philadelphia. Schuylkill Expressway westbound near Jansen University through the Vine Expressway. Ongoing construction. The reason west of that, not bad. Eastbound side, still a light ride Montgomery through Girard. Westbound Vine Expressway. Delays 8th out through Broad. Again, getting heavy Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. Still a disabled tractor trailer there off to the shoulder. Southbound 95, Jam Cotman through Bridge through a work zone. Again, Betsy Ross through Girard. Northbound moving fine. 55 north. Deptford into 42 now getting busy. Staples has cards and invitations to help you connect with clients and loved ones. Choose from hundreds of holiday templates to customize. Now get 30% off custom holiday cards and invitations. Offer ends 12/19/20. Limit 1. Visit staples.com/holiday cards or store for details. Staples. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now
on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. Joining us now is Taylor Allen. She's Plan Philly's housing reporter, and you can see her work on WHYY.org. She joins us to talk about her most recent articles for WHYY. Taylor, good morning.
Good morning, Solomon.
How are you?
Doing all right. It's a good Friday so far.
Okay. All right. Well, you ready for the lockdown? Because the lockdown is going to be reinstituted tomorrow. So you better get all your running around done today.
I mean, I haven't really left the house since I got here, so my life won't change.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's a good thing. So let's talk about housing, because there is a mechanism for community groups to negotiate with developers who want to do stuff in their community. What is that called, Taylor?
Community benefit agreements, usually. Usually how that works is the registered community organization, which is a very formal organization that you kind of have to apply for. They're the ones that usually talk to developers and see that there can be something for the actual community that can be done, very much what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and so how long have these been in place, and what happens with these community benefit agreements?
Well, unofficially, they've kind of been around since development. More formally, I mean, there's been attempts to make it more formal, right? Like Daryl Clark last year tried to actually make a bill that says, like, when big developments come, CBAs have to be required. It didn't pass, but still unofficially they happen all the time.
Okay. Okay. And so what are communities asking for? I know you went into a specific community and kind of walk with them as they did this. Where was the community, and what happened with their negotiation?
Well, for the Hawthorne, their community is called the Hawthorne Empowerment Coalition in that neighborhood. So for the past 9-ish months, they've been like really hammering down on negotiations. But this is where Bart Blatstein has like his most recent really big development. And they were originally wanted affordable housing, and they wanted somewhere they could put like their senior living. Both of those, no. But they still got to win, right, is because Bart agreed that, 25% of retail will be towards Philadelphia-based stores and local businesses. He committed that a certain percentage would be hired construction. People who wanted to do construction would be of the immediate zip code. So there are wins in there. And quite frankly, he also didn't have to. Usually with these big developments, the only time you really have to talk to the community is if you want a zoning variance. And he didn't have to. He got a buy-by right. So really, the developer really gave them things that he legally didn't have to. So it was still an agreement that he didn't have to do, and it still worked out.
How did the community feel on the back end? How did that specific organization, the registered community organization there, how did they feel about it? Did they feel like it was a win for them?
They do. I mean, when it was first, when Bart's, sorry, there's a little bit of playback. When Bart first is the application to do this to do this development, it was 37 stories. It was a really big high-rise, And they were very vehemently against that about 2 years ago. So the fact that he even changed it to a mid-rise, so that's about like 11 to 12 stories, it's a lot smaller, they were already happy about like, okay, fine. Like, you completely redesigned this for us. So they already considered that a win. And then when he came back and been like, okay, how about we'll negotiate of what we could actually do to benefit the surrounding community, they were like, oh, okay. So, yes, they do still think it's a win, just because, quite frankly, like I said before, he didn't have to.
So they asked for affordable housing, though. Did they get that?
No.
No. Okay. So what was his reasoning for saying that he wouldn't include any affordable housing units in the final plans?
The very easy answer is that it's a market rate development, and he wasn't getting any government subsidies of any kind to do it. That was like just the very simple answer of like, I'm doing this all by myself. I'm not getting really any subsidies. That's not what I want to do. It's not how I make money. So no.
And so were there any other community organizations? Because what I'm hearing, especially in South Philly, is that the developers are negotiating with the white community organizations, but not negotiating with the black community organizations. Were there any community organizations that were left out?
I'm going to say yes off of that. The only reason I say that is because, the registered community organizations, although the thought of them, the registered ones at least, that they are the community, a lot of the people who are on those boards are former developers, or they are urbanists, people who do this for a living, not necessarily people who are on the board, or people who have lived there for a very long time. So off the bat, absolutely. And that is definitely something that is a problem. Even during my reporting, I talked to a lot of board members, but I made a point to at least talk to 2 residents to say, like, hey, I want someone who is not on the board at all, who is just a regular resident. Because it's true, a lot of our COs are people who, I'm not going to say they don't live there, but, like, they're also, a lot of them are professional politicians, they're professional businessmen. They're not necessarily people who are just regular residents. So, yes, there are definitely people who are left out of this process.
So was there any talk in terms of the residents that you talked to about other registered community organizations? Because one of the things that I've been hearing is that in some communities there's more than one registered community organization, and the developers kind of choosing which one they want to talk to.
Well, the one in for the Post Brothers one that was doing the Piazza Terminal, there was one that was listed on the actual project, right? And that was the Northern Liberties Neighborhood Association. But another one that wasn't necessarily listed was the West Girard Progress, and that's like the blacker one, basically, for lack of a better term. And that just wasn't listed. I had to like go find them, like after the Post Brother mentioned them. So some of these registered community organizations aren't even listed. You have to like find them yourselves. So yeah, you're right. Like there's definitely some preference, or at least that's what it appears to be.
And so how can a community organization go about getting some affordable housing included in some of these things? What are some of the tactics they use in terms of negotiation from what you saw in your reporting?
A lot of meetings. A lot of bringing the developers to their meetings, being like, hey, show me your actual design, and we're going to give you like a Q&A part, which is with anyone who shows up. Obviously, people who usually shows up to meetings are people who are usually displeased in some fashion. That's typically how that works, right? And that's usually how that, at least their concerns are heard. When a developer needs a zoning variance, that's when they have more power, okay? Because they need it to be approved. So when that is on the table, that's when they need to ask the most, because that's when they have the most leverage. But when we talk about affordable housing, as much as communities want it, to keep it real, like that's not on them particularly. Like that's not a whole lot of power. Like that's more like city council and government, right? Like if these developers, at the end of the day, if they don't have funding to do it, or there's no incentive to do it, they're probably not going to do it. So that's more like a council thing. Like people need to really push their council members to be like, hey, give them some breaks or something, because otherwise they're kind of not going to do it.
So that happens at the council level, because council, any new project that's built in a district, the district council person has to be on board.
Right. Also, there's, inclusionary zoning, and that's like the question, like, hey, why don't you use inclusionary zoning to have some units? And I asked that particularly to the Post brothers, and even they said, they're like, yeah, theoretically I could do it, but again, the processing takes a long time. I want to get this project done, and it's going to take even more years. So really, you got to make it easier to do it, and you got to get your council person on board. So, the community can really, jump up and down all they want, but, if there's no incentive for the developer to do it, they're not going to. And they'll do other things, which is still valuable, but it's, for economic opportunity.
We're talking with Taylor Allen. She is the housing reporter for Plan Philly. You can check her work out on WHYY.org. That's WHYY.org. And in terms of the zoning, right? Because you're right, they have to have a meeting around zoning, and if they need a variance, then they have to make deals. Are the community groups aware of that, and are they putting pressure on during those zoning meetings that take place on the front end?
Oh, they're aware. Well, at least the ones that I've spoken to, they're very much aware. And at least with the Northern Liberties Neighborhood Association, when they do that, they actually do have some wins. They actually have won affordable housing in the past. Granted, the development was a lot smaller. The developer itself wasn't a really big name. It wasn't an expensive one in comparison to the Bart Blackstein one. But still, there are some wins, and you definitely can get so much more wins if they need a zoning variance. When you don't, you're kind of just at their mercy.
Yeah, and so we're going to be looking forward to hearing more about these community benefit agreements and what some of these community organizations are doing in order to get them. I'm curious about the other community organization that you talked to in Northern Liberties. What did they say about being included or excluded from these negotiations, and how are they going about trying to get a bigger voice?
Well, no, they were included. It's just that, when you look at, the formal project, they were listed for whatever reason. But the Post Brothers did include them. I want to be super clear about it. And they didn't even ask for affordable housing. They were just like, we want jobs. They straight up were like, I just want a job. I just want economic opportunity. You're doing it in my neighborhood, and I want a job. And that's how that went.
And what was the response?
The response was, yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right. Well, that's what I keep saying, Taylor. It's about the jobs. It's about who gets the work, who gets the money, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of money in this, and people in the community want to be part of it. So I want to thank you for your reporting on this, and we look forward to talking with you more. That's Taylor Allen. She is the housing reporter for Plan Philly. You can check her work out on WHYY.org. Taylor, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right. So I want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are in these various things we are talking about on this morning show, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are in these various things we're talking about. So, Kawesa, what are they saying this morning on Facebook? Of course, you can weigh in there at FORWURD. That is FORWURD.
So we do have a few comments here. I'm trying to pull up. Good morning to Rebecca Truxon. Also, good morning to Atia Hicks as well. Tony is actually saying facts, Solomon, facts in regards to what you were talking about earlier. And then Donna Torrance is saying you are so on point. So that's another comment that we have. Cedric Milliner says, hey, greetings, Word family, blessings. Isn't it amazing that all Black communities across the country worldwide are dealing with the same things? That's why we'll always be fighting for what we believe in. Enjoy, peace. So that's another comment that we have here. Good morning to Cheryl Brown. Thank you so much for tuning in and weighing in here. Michelle Branch, good morning, Solomon. She's saying, this is Michelle Branch from West Philly. I like to say that it's funny how when the police detectors is the force, they can find these people that bring harm to them within a day or even the same day or 2 days. But when it comes to Black crime, they leave it in the folder and never look back on it. I have dealt with that many times in my life, even my own brother. I think she's saying back in 85, she had to deal with that. So that's another comment that we have here as well. And then Rovetta Everett Gilmore says, I agree, we have to keep a scorecard and vote accordingly. Sandra Fields, good morning to you. I'm looking at your comment here. I will leave it on there because I don't, it's a good comment, but just know that there are ways to get around some of the red tape and paperwork when it comes to trying to get houses and things like that when your family members have passed on. I don't want everybody to know all the secrets. So that's what I'm not going to say it. Good morning to Bernice Payton. Thanks so much for weighing in. And also Carmen Iris and Sandra Streeter. Good morning to both of you as well. So those are some of our comments that we have here on our Facebook page.
Yeah. So 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That stuff with housing, man, and tangled titles, we have to be a little bit more savvy about paperwork and about stuff that we need to do. And guess what? About dealing with death. And knowing that, as much as you don't want to talk about it, as much as you don't want to think about it, as much as you don't want to move on it, you're going to die. Like, that's guaranteed, right? And so whatever you have, there really needs to be a line of succession to who gets what, because otherwise, you just got to go through a whole lot of stuff, man. I know they wanted me to go to like probate court around some property or whatever, and it just was a lot. But thank God I kind of knew somebody who could walk me through that and help me with that and make it a lot simpler. But if you got to go in there, man, and deal with the register of wills, because that's where you got to go to deal with that kind of stuff in Philadelphia, they had you going to court and everything else, man, dealing with stuff, if there is no paperwork, if there is no will. And so you really have to be on top of that stuff, man, so that your family can be taken care of after you pass on. That's what I've learned over the years, that you have to have a will. And that it has to be very clear who gets what, and that you need to be able to put your hands on folks who would be involved in it, right? There's no way you should not know, where these folks are, because when the property, when it's time for the property to be passed on, you have to know. And if it's going to go to one person and not everybody else, then you have to have paperwork where they have to renounce their rights and all this other stuff. And you got to go into court with that. And it's just, have a will. Have a will. You know what I mean? That's the best advice I can give to you around passing on property, because otherwise you have all of these people who are supposed to be heirs and you don't even know where they at. You can't even find them. You know what I mean? It's just a lot. So I want to hear from you. We're gonna talk, of course, with Akbar Hassan on the other side of this break. But I do want to remind you, if you want to buy black for the holidays, we've got you covered. Word Radio is proud to present our virtual holiday marketplace online. Support local, small, black-owned businesses through the marketplace and purchase your holiday gifts today. Go to wordradio.com/marketplace or wordworks.com/marketplace. I'm Solomon Jones. This is WURD. We'll be right back.
In Pennsylvania, it's now illegal to sell tobacco products, including cigarettes, cigars, chewing tobacco, vapes, or electronic cigarettes to anyone under 21. Stores can get fined up to $1,000 for selling tobacco to someone who is underage. Know the law. Check IDs. Post your retailer license. Make sure only employees have access to tobacco products and only sell tobacco products to customers aged 21 and older. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Hi, this is Jeff Brown from Brown's Family ShopRites and Fresh Grocers. Are you thinking about a part-time job to help out with the cost of the holidays? We have plenty of openings. You can apply online at shoprite.com/careers or freshgrocer.com/careers. Come join the Brown family today and help us serve the people of Philadelphia. Have a great holiday.
The Word Radio newsletter, keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. Sign up by visiting wordradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and type your email address under Connect with Us. You'll receive the latest information on Word Radio, messages from our president and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese, exclusive articles and multimedia content, and resources. Stay informed with the Word Radio newsletter. Livelihood, the new initiative from WURD Radio, connecting Philadelphians to jobs, entrepreneurship opportunities, small business resources, and financial literacy. Visit WURDworks.com right now and take the next step in your professional journey. Livelihood is supported by the Nightland Fest's Local News Transformation Fund, Borealis Philanthropies Racial Equity and Journalism Fund, and the Solutions Journalism Network. Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Staples Stores. Still some volume spots out there. Schuylkill Expressway, westbound University through South, jammed up there through construction. Eastbound side, a little slow around the curve to Belmont. Again, heavy Montgomery through Spring Garden. Westbound Vine Expressway delays 8th out through Broad. Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. 95 southbound Common through Bridge. Delays there through a work zone. Again, from Allegheny through Girard, you're slow. 55 northbound. Deptford into 42, a bit busy. Staples has cards and invitations to help you connect with clients and loved ones. Choose from hundreds of holiday templates to customize. Now get 30% off custom holiday cards and invitations. Offer ends 12/19/20, limit 1. Visit staples.com/holiday cards or store for details. Staples. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
You're waking up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Good morning. Right now on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Don't do it. There's other ways to celebrate your anniversary other than going in debt. The fact that it's credit card debt tells me it's not any debt that was, needed. Past performance is not indicative of future results. So with that qualifier, don't walk, run.
And now, Akbar Hassan, only on Wake Up with WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD. And, of course, we are talking with Akbar Hassan. He's a personal financial advisor counseling individuals and small businesses. He has 3 decades of corporate finance experience in 2 of the world's largest law firms. He unwraps the mystery of money, offering practical, insightful, and easy-to-understand guidance. Akbar, good morning.
Good morning, Solomon. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Excellent, excellent, excellent. You know what? I think you covered it very well about the importance of having a will and just planning on how to pass on property and financial material items, because that's very important. Because, like you said, that'll get stuck in the courts, and then a lot of money and time is wasted.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you learn stuff through experience, and I'm telling you. We have to become a little bit more savvy about that. And I know it's hard to talk about like dying and death and, but you have to talk about that stuff, before the fact, because afterwards it's too late. And if you don't have a will and you don't have that paperwork and you don't have everything in order, then it just makes things a whole lot harder, man. And you have to deal with that on top of the grief.
Yep. I mean, you have your wills, you have your durable or financial power of attorney, you have revocable living trust, you have medical power of attorney. So you have a lot of different options and things out there to to just look at and make sure you have those things prepared because like you said, we're all going that way, and
That's right.
It's best to have that baton passed to the next generation as easy as possible. I mean, a lot of people like to hold on everything to the last minute, but that's really not a way to handle your business or your life. You need to prepare for it now.
Absolutely. It is critically important. And Akbar, of course, congratulations are in order. You are one of the board members of Man Up PHL. We got a grant from the Eagles, one of their social justice grants, and we certainly appreciate that. We appreciate them. All these years I've been cheering for the Eagles, man. We've been cheering for the Eagles. and now the Eagles are cheering for us, man. It's a good thing.
Yes, it's a very good thing, a very big deal because a lot of people applied for that grant, and the board, which includes a lot of the players or a group of the players, reviewed all the applications in detail, and they realized that what we were doing was very necessary for the community and our work. During this coronavirus, we pressed on. We morphed and found a different way to do things to still reach out to the mentees that need our help, and we're moving forward. And 2021 is going to be explosive in the people that we're going to help. So I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. So let's talk about money, man. We got a question from one of our listeners. And what is the question this morning, Akbar?
So the question is, you say save for unexpected events. What should I do if I have to choose between saving and paying off debt? Also, what should I be doing now to prepare for 2021? Okay, very good question. So let's look at our choices, all right? So let's say the goal is to pay off debt as quick as possible, all right? So all your money, extra money, after you pay bills, goes towards your credit card and other debt, all right? So the good news is you'll see a quicker increase in your credit score, which is great. And I think the other day you covered the importance of credit score. The bad news is you have nothing saved for the emergency, all right? And when you have an emergency, what will happen is you'll have to go back and put everything back on a credit card. And now you're back in debt. Not a good position to be in, all right? On the flip side, let's say your goal is to save as much as possible, all right? So just pay the minimums on your debt, on your credit card and all that, and you sow as much as you can into savings, all right? Sounds good. Except you're getting hit with high interest charges on your debt because you're only paying the minimum. All right, so doing this, a $5,000 credit card charge, when you add the interest, it becomes $20,000 and 5 to 10 years to pay off. And in addition, the interest that you're paying on that debt is way more the interest that you're earning on savings, right? So with savings, you're earning 1%. The debt is the interest on your debt is like 20%, 15-20%. So not a good way, all right? So what to do? The best approach is there's going to have to be a balance. You're going to have to find a balancing point and save and pay down debt. You always want to pay down more than the minimum on debt, and especially high interest debt. You really want to allocate more of your money towards that. So if you have a bunch of cards and one is a high interest debt, you want to tackle that first. Now, I say that, but at the same token, you also want to save a bit. So maybe you don't want to save as much as you can because you're paying off the debt, but you don't want to put all of it towards paying off the debt. So I would say, do a 40 to 60% allocation, or 30 to 70% allocation. Some goes to debt, some goes to savings, but you really, really want to do both. That's the best way to handle it. That way, if something does come up, at least you have a little bit or something in savings to handle a car repair or something like that pops on the scene. And as you pay down that debt, then you can take that excess money after your debt is paid off and bulk up your savings. That's what I would do.
Yeah, because you need both. You need both. You need a good credit score, and you need to have some savings, especially if you want to do something like, and you're right, Akbar, I did talk about this the other day, do something like buy a house or make a major purchase. You got to have good credit and you got to have some money.
That's right. I think people are being awakened at how a credit score is used, in your life. A lot of, go for a job, they look at your credit score. Why? Because someone with a low credit score has a lot of debt. usually, okay? And they're behind on their bills. And usually they're looking for a way to, how can I get more money to pay off this debt? And they are most likely to steal given the opportunity. That's just the way it is. And so, a business doesn't want to hire a person that if everybody has their eyes closed, they walk out with a piece of equipment or cash to pay off some debt. So that's really why credit score is important in businesses. So it's important to keep that number up. So 3 things going into 2021. I would say the first thing is review your budget. All right, I say review the budget maybe 4 times a year, 3 times, but the year end is the best time to review the budget, especially with 2021, because 2021 is not going to be the same as 2020. I tell you what I see. I see a lot of people going on vacation the second half of next year. All right,
yes,
I see all the nurses, the doctors, working around the clock for weeks at a time. Everyone's exhausted. When this thing's over, I see everything coming back as far as vacation. So I would say make sure you include that in your budget. But now's a good time to revisit that 2021 budget. It's a good time to think about savings. Since we're talking about savings, think about bulking up your savings. A lot of people's savings has been exhausted because of 2020, because of having to pay down, because of not having to have a job or whatever. So now's a good time to revisit your savings. And lastly, review your retirement plan. Are you saving enough into your 401k or IRA? Are you prepared for, what's coming down the pipe as far as, moving on to the next phase of your life? Retirement, I say, doesn't mean not working. It just means doing what you want to do when you want to do it. So those are the 3 things you need to prepare for: retirement, revisiting your budget, and savings. And you do that, and you'll be on a good, even playing field and ready to rock and roll for 2021.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. Akbar Hassan, of course, is a financial advisor, counseling individuals and small businesses. He has 3 decades of corporate finance experience in 2 of the world's largest law firms. He unwraps the mystery of money, offering practical, insightful, and easy-to-understand guidance. Akbar, thanks so much.
Thank you, Salman.
All right, all right. So, Akbar, where can people get in touch with you? We lost Akbar. So you can get Akbar on Twitter and as well as email, and I will find that information and share it in a few minutes. But right now we're going to take your calls at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning show. 215-634-8065. If you want to get in touch with Akbar, you can go to Akbar. You can email him at akbar-hassan@comcast.net. That's akbar-hassan@comcast.net. So we're taking your calls, also taking your comments on Facebook right here on WURD. And so you can do that, of course, at onWURD. That's FORWURD. FORWURD. Kawesa, what are folks saying this morning on Facebook?
So a couple more comments that we have here. Cheryl Wright is weighing in. She says, good morning, Word family. She says, I have a question. Maybe this is something you might be able to answer at one point. Can you will a house that you are still paying a mortgage on? So that's a good question. So maybe we can get an answer for you the next time around. And then also Walter Davis is weighing in here saying, good morning, Solomon, Kawesa, and my Word family. So thanks so much for tuning in here. And then also Atia Hicks says, that is awesome. Man up organization. Thanks, Eagles. And then she's also saying good morning to Akbar and thanks for the financial wisdom. Be blessed all day and weekend. And then we also have here, Staporna Nemhard saying, good morning, family. Thanks for sharing this opportunity. Most importantly, thanks to Solomon and the Word family. And so those are just a couple of comments that are here. And then we also have, I'm trying to pull it up, but everything keeps crashing on me. Sorry about that. So those are our comments. And Motley is saying, good advice. Will it work in a shrinking economy? I mean, I think that it will. Work, the advice that Akbar is providing, because you want to make sure that you're financially savvy on all ends. So yeah, definitely. And then also good morning to Geraldine Mayfield as well. So those are just a few folks weighing in and checking us out this morning.
All right. So yesterday, my wife said that she had a question that we might want to ask on the show. So we're all at home, right? And a lot of us at home with our family members, getting to know them a lot better, getting to know stuff about them that we like, stuff about them that we don't, right? And she asked about pet peeves, stuff that gets on your nerves, right? Stuff that you've learned since you've been on this lockdown really gets on your nerves, really like gets under your skin. Those things that you didn't really notice before, but now it's like these things are really bothering you now. What are your pet peeves? The stuff that gets on your nerves that you've learned since you've been on lockdown. Now, when she told me that, Kawais, I said, you're going to start getting folks in trouble. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Talk about it.
They going to call and they going to give their pet peeves and their wife going to be staying there tapping her foot. Like, what? But, I'm going to put the question out there. What are your pet peeves, man? What are the things that are kind of getting under your skin? And it doesn't have to be about another person in the house or whatever. Maybe it's something that's just happening in the house, stuff that's getting on your nerves. I want to know, what are your pet peeves? Now, she gave me hers, Kawesa. She said her pet peeve is 2 bags of a snack being open at the same time, right? So we got 2 bags of potato chips. Somebody open one bag, start eating the bag, and then somebody open another bag, and now it's 2 bags of potato chips open in the house.
Are they the same flavor?
They are.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That would get me too.
They are. And I didn't tell her at the time, but I think I might be the one that did it. Right? So I would let her think the kids did it. I
would have just kept doing that.
But what happens is you don't realize that it's already one open, and then you open another one. It's true. Not like and you do it.
Especially if the other bag's kind of hiding a little bit. You're like, oh, yeah, that ain't open.
It's behind some other stuff.
Yeah.
So that's her pet peeve. I want to know what yours is. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD. Kawesa, do you have any?
I do. Yeah. I mean, it's really probably something that was bothering me before, but now it's like really like, so, I am the type of person, I like to keep the kitchen clean, and I'm always, keeping it clean when I wash as I'm cooking, because I don't like to come back and see a whole bunch of dishes. Biggest pet peeve, and this is something that my brother used to do, my roommate does it too sometimes, but like, all the dishes will be clean, right? And it's an empty sink. Mm-hmm. Why there gotta be one fork or one knife or one spoon or one cup just chilling like you washed everything else and there's one lone dish just chilling in there. Oh, every time.
Wash that dish.
Just wash it. It's so easy. Just wash it.
I know. So I'm trying to think, what are my pet peeves? But one of my pet peeves is when you got your shoes all over the place. Yeah. Like it bothers me. Mm. It bothers me. It does. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to have them in your bedroom. Don't have them in the living room, man. Don't. Just take your shoes, take them with you, put them on. You walk away. So it's like, that kind of stuff, man. And so I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. So, yeah, pet peeves, one dish in the sink, absolutely. That is a pet peeve. Shoes in the living room, yeah, kind of gets to me. As well as opening up another bag of something when you got the same thing already open. Lord have mercy. Those are pet peeves. So I want to know what yours is. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. I'm Solomon Jones. On the other side, we're going to talk what's trending, and then it's right back to your calls. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Listen to Laborers Live.
We created the weekend. We created the 40-hour work week. We just want enough to feed our family, be able to send our children to college, and let our next generation do better than we did.
To people that might have forgot how important unionism is in a country like the United States. People now infringing on our 8-hour workday, trying to work people more than 8 hours without overtime, trying to work people without benefits. In the long run, everybody's getting a fat paycheck except the worker. So this is really a wake-up call for America.
The struggle is continuous. Tune in to Laborers Live every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. Sponsored by LESIT, the Laborers Employers Cooperation Education Trust of the Laborers District Council of Philadelphia and vicinity.
Local 332, Sam Staten Jr. Business Manager. Local 57, Esteban Vera Business Manager. Local 135, Dan Woodall Jr. Business Manager. Local 413, James Harper Jr. Business Manager. The Laborers District Council, Ryan Boyer Business Manager, and Tony Staten, Executive Director of LESIT.
Keystone First VIP Choice HMO SNP Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan has a 4 out of 5 star rating and is one of the highest rated Medicare plans in the region. Keystone First VIP Choice and you are better together. If you live in Philadelphia, Bucks, Chester, Montgomery, or Delaware County, and you have both Medicare and Medicaid, choose the Medicare plan that is working to help you get better care. Enjoy extra benefits at no cost to you with Keystone First VIP Choice. You get benefits like dental, vision, and transportation to and from your medical appointments. They also cover a fitness membership to a gym of your choice. $150 toward over-the-counter pharmacy items. There's no copay for doctor's visits. They offer a large provider network, a great prescription plan, dental coverage, and even eyeglasses. Plus, you don't have to wait for open enrollment. You can change your coverage every quarter. Keystone First VIP Choice. The name you trust, the service you deserve. Call Keystone First VIP Choice today at 1-877-686-1760 or visit KeystoneFirstVIPChoice.com.
Always Best Care is a great place to work.
Flexibility,
leadership, purpose,
great benefits.
There's never a dull moment. Diversity, inclusion, compasión.
We love our jobs.
If you're looking for a great place to work, you can join our compassionate Team Green. You can apply online at teamgreenabc.com or call 267-909-9248.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
The onWURD Podcast. Check out the onWURD 2020 in Black podcast series. Available now on your favorite podcast app or visit wordradio.com/2020 in black. You can also ask your favorite device to play onWURD 2020 in black. This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Independent Black Media. It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Circuits are busy. Here's what's trending. Yo, that's crazy. On Wake Up with WURD.
Tommy Tiny Lister, perhaps best known for his turn as Debo in the Friday film, passed away on Thursday. He was 62. Lister was found unconscious in his Marina Del Rey home on Thursday afternoon. He was pronounced dead on the scene, and there is no word as to the cause of death.
And Ben & Jerry's, who have been consistent in pushing social justice reform, are now honoring NFL cornerback turned activist Colin Kaepernick with his very own flavor appropriately titled Change the World. A portion of the proceeds will also be used to support the Know Your Rights Camp, Kaepernick's nonprofit organization that focuses on advancing the liberation and well-being of black and brown communities.
And Queen Latifah is making some major news these days, and the latest one has her starring in a new action thriller from Netflix called End of the Road. The premise, after losing her job, recently widowed Brenda drives her family across country to start a new life. In the New Mexico desert, cut off from help, they must learn to fight back when they become the targets of a mysterious killer. And that is what's trending.
All right, that's what's trending right here on WURD Radio. That Queen Latifah movie sounds like The Hills Have Eyes. That's an old movie. You wouldn't remember that, Kawesa. It was like, I don't know. Yeah, it was maybe the 80s, early 80s when that came out.
Tarantino did another version of that too, and it was very disturbing.
Yeah, those movies are like, ugh.
Yeah.
You know, because you could see it being you.
Yeah. Very disturbing.
Yeah. So, but I know she'll be good in it. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD. Miss Queen from Cobbs Creek is on line 1. Go ahead, Miss Queen.
Yes, Solomon, I think your wife really did it this time. Because my pet peeve, let me tell you, I can't stand it when you're brushing your teeth and the water's running. Why does the water have to run while you're brushing your teeth? Turn it off till you finish, and then turn it on and rinse your mouth out and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness, it's working my nerves.
And you can hear the water running.
Yep, and it's running hard.
It ain't like it's just a trickle.
Listen, I actually stopped the sink up to let it run and fill up and see how long it takes. I mean, the sink practically running over.
Yeah.
You letting the water run so long. Another one is holding the refrigerator door open to see what's in it. You know what's in there when you went 5 minutes ago.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
Okay,
all right, Miss Queen, thank you. I appreciate that. What are your pet peeves? What are you seeing folk do that is just getting on your last nerve? 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Minister Tracy is on the line. She's on line 2. Good morning, Minister Tracy.
Good morning. It's always a privilege. But I just want to say, to you, thank you and the radio station, Brother Jacob, and especially Patrick, Brother Patrick. Oh, my God. My young people couldn't believe it. They said a white man just showed up and helped them. And they was just overwhelmed about that. They was just shaking their heads, crying. They couldn't believe what the groceries they got. They were so excited. Mark woke up today, said, I slept so good in my bed. He was up this morning. He got a job yesterday. Thank God. Everything is working good for him.
Good.
'Cause when they first came in the house, they said, "We gonna live here." They said, "You sure you just let people come and live here?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You don't be scared that they gonna rob you?" And I said, "Man, listen, I got faith in him." And Brother Jacobs came in and he said he was so impressed. He said, "This house is beautiful." And I just want to thank you, Solomon.
You're welcome.
Everyone that helped, that showed up.
You are so welcome. You are so welcome. And we wish you the very best. And we're going to see if we can do more to help you, Minister Tracy. Make sure that Kawesa still has that number because we're going to make sure that we can do more. So thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Got a girl that came with her.
I think we just lost Minister Tracy. Did we lose her, Kawesa?
Let me try to see if I can grab her back. Hold on a minute.
Okay. Yeah. All right. In the meantime, if you want to get in, it is 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning's show. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning show. 215-634-8065. You can also, of course, weigh in on Facebook at onWURD. That's FORWURD, FORWURD. We are, of course, talking about our top 3 stories, which are story number 1, Council passed a package of bills extending the tax abatement after they said they were going to get rid of it, and also putting a 1% construction tax on residential construction, although not commercial construction. All of it with the goal of putting together a $400 million program, which they say will address poverty. And we will, of course, see about that. Story number 2 is the CDC, which says that, look, black people are affected by COVID-19 disproportionately because of racism. That is what is behind all of it. And so the CDC just putting it out there, and we appreciate them doing that research, although they did not want it to be public. Story number 3, a lot of talk about defunding the police to pay for social workers and mental health professionals, mostly because police keep shooting black people. Well, those shootings are wrong, they are racist, and they need to be dealt with. But if we're going to take funding away from police in Philly, there's another reason to do it, and that reason is just as important. The police in Philly are not solving murders that concern black people. So I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Diane from South Philly is on line 1. Go ahead, Diane.
Good morning, Solomon. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fine. I know you're getting ready for the big 5, 1 or 2 or whatever it's going to be, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in that 5th decade. So I'm getting ready.
Welcome to the club, and I know you got your AARP magazine.
I do.
I enjoy. At first, she was talking a little fast, but thank you for bringing on Taylor Allen, because I'm going to look her up, because she had more information than us living in Philadelphia as block captain or committee person or whatever. Because lately, nothing's been going on. I just have to keep on jumping on the internet and find out when's the next meeting or is there going to be a meeting. And number 2, City Council pulled it again. They did what they wanted to do. Come on. This is a habit with them not communicating with the people. Like a brother called earlier, questions like this and decisions like this should have been on a poll, the ballot, that we can vote for it. And number 3, you talk about pet peeves. Ask all these single black women don't have no man. There you go.
I hear you. And I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD, Diane. And have a great weekend. Tell Sugar Lady I said hi. And Kawesa, what are they saying this morning on Facebook?
Okay, I'm just pulling it up now. Of course, everything always wants to freeze when I gotta jump in here. But Matia Hicks says, I'm that CDC info research is now public. Oh, talking about what we were speaking of earlier. And then also we have Gail Robinson saying, great job and many blessings to you, Patrick and WURD family. And again, also shout out to Jacob and Alney as well, just for doing the work of the people. We really appreciate it. Diane Fassett, I guess keeping the water running can be very annoying to the one that pays the water bill. So yeah, that's definitely true right there. And then also good morning to Robert Garland. And then Brenda Bellinger says, sorry, Miss Queen, I do run the water when brushing my teeth. And Donna Torrance agrees. She's saying all day running the water. So that's another comment. And then Tia Hicks is also saying, I'm with the current caller about the water. Yes, thanks, miss. I don't like when people just leave toothpaste on the sink either. So that's gross. Don't do that. So that's another comment that we have there as well. And I did grab a couple others. Let me see if I can try to grab them. Sean Wright Dupree says, good morning, peace and blessings, and congratulations on Man Up. And then she said, oh, can you spell Akbar, please? Oh, so Akbar is A-K-B-A-R. So A-K-B, like boy, A-R. So that's how you spell Akbar's first name there. And so that's another comment that we have. And then good morning to Ayatunde Garrett. And I saw another one, but I can't find it in regards to a pet peeve. But I guess I will look for that at another time. But yep, those are our comments that we have so far.
All right. 215-634-8065, of course, is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. And let's go to Shakumba from Philly on line 2. Go ahead.
Oh, hi, this is Mr. Cumber. I represent the organization called North of Washington Avenue. Yeah. But
Call
I'm
what?
calling about the North of Washington Avenue Coalition.
Okay.
What I'm calling about, and I just want to read this statement if you let me. It's called, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. I can't express the anger that I feel in regards to the fact that city council has again chosen to sacrifice our children educational development that saves us all. Money can be replaced, and it's a temporary loss. The mind does not recover once damaged. This is a permanent thing. City Council has chosen to continue to provide abatements rather than improve the education of the black and brown children of Philadelphia. They have chosen to continue the gentrification of our neighborhoods and the future deterioration of our schools and destruction of our children's educational development and their livelihoods forever. The election of City Council occurs in 2023. I'm asking people to put these people on trial for the crime of destruction of the mental and educational development of our black and brown children. And these are the people who did this: Darrell Clark, Bobby Hinton, David O., Brian O'Neill, Kenyatta Johnson, Curtis Jones, Cheryl Parker, Cindy Bass, and Miguel Kenyatta Sanchez. They failed to step forward to protect our children, our most vital asset, when we needed them. And I aimed it. Our mind did a terrible thing to waste. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your comment this morning, although some of the people that you named actually voted against that. But I hear you, and I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio. We're going to go to break, and on the other side, we are going to continue the show. We're going to talk with Scott Horsley from NPR on the other side. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Man, this coronavirus has us all moving differently.
No doubt. Like washing our hands more and social distancing with the crew. I'm always telling people to give me 6 feet. We're here, Grandma.
There's my babies. Good to see you got your mask on.
Wear mask. Stop the spread. For more information, visit www.pa.gov/COVID.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
At PICO, we know one thing is certain. Times have changed. From kitchen classrooms to couch conference calls, searching for a new job, or new ways to keep your family connected. These changes have become a part of our reality. That's why our teams are working 24/7 to meet the needs of our communities. So no matter how much things change, you can depend on PICO to be there with the energy and help you need to power through. Learn more at pico.com.
Looking for employment? JD's Auto Body and Painting is hiring. They have 2 positions if you have 5 years experience in auto body and framework. Also seeking painter with 5 years experience. And if you have experience as an A or B assembler, JD's Auto Body can be the place for you. Please call JD's Auto Body at 215-848-5949 or email jdsautobodyandpainting@comcast.net.
Monday through Thursday, keep it locked to WURD Radio. At 6 a.m., start your day with the Power Hour, hosted by Bishop Dwayne Royster and Reverend Mark Kelly Tyler. At 7, it's Wake Up with WURD with Solomon Jones. At 10 a.m., it's Reality Check with Charles Ellison. Then at 1 p.m., it's The Source, hosted by Andrea Lawful Sanders on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and the Black Women's Leadership Council on Wednesdays. At 4 p.m., it's Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Then at 7, it's Save Space with Sincerely Sarita. At 9 p.m., round up your day with Keeping It Real with the Reverend Al Sharpton. Keep your dial locked to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on WURDRadio.com and the WURD Radio app. Or watch live on WURD TV via Facebook and YouTube. WURD Radio. Independent Black Media. This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Black Talk Media. It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. Joining us now is Scott Horsley. He is NPR's chief economics correspondent. He reports on ups and downs in the national economy as well as fault lines between booming and busting communities. He joins us to talk about his most recent piece, Unemployment Claims Jump Just Before Critical Aid Programs Are Set to Expire. Scott, welcome to the show.
Solomon, it's good to be with you.
Yep, it's good to have you on. So I'm watching now as Congress just keeps going back and forth around a relief program that doesn't seem to be in the cards right now. What's the latest that you're hearing about where they are on coronavirus relief?
Well, it's kind of Groundhog Day. You know, the sticking points continue to be what Republicans want, which is liability protection for businesses against COVID-related lawsuits, and what Democrats want, which is aid to cities and states that have had their tax revenues cut because of the pandemic. And in the meantime, things like unemployment insurance are sort of being held hostage because they haven't been able to cut a deal on some of these other sticking points.
Right.
And at the same time, we're seeing a jump in new unemployment claims. So people are getting pink slips as new infections surge and as hospitals fill up. You know, ICUs are filling up and restaurants and bars are emptying out, and that's a bad combination. And we've got more than 13 million people right now who are counting on emergency unemployment benefits that are set to run out on the day after Christmas, which is a pretty big lump of coal for the American public unless Congress can get its act together and pass some kind of extension.
Wow. So how many unemployment claims have we had in state unemployment benefits, say for the week that ended December 5th?
Yeah, these numbers are a little noisy, and you know, this report that comes out every Thursday morning was never really intended to be a great economic indicator, although it's been under the microscope ever since this pandemic began. And in the most recent week's data, which came out yesterday morning, we saw a pretty big jump in state unemployment claims. They were up nearly 20%, 853,000 new claims last week. There's a separate federal program for gig workers and the unemployed who usually are not eligible for unemployment insurance. This was passed as part of the CARES Act last spring. Those claims jumped almost 50% to 427,000. So between the two programs, you had nearly 1.3 million people who were newly unemployed last week and seeking help. At the same time, now that we are, you know, many months into this pandemic, you have folks who were cut from their jobs early on during the spring who've now exhausted their 26 weeks. It's typically 26 weeks or about 6 months of state benefits. There is a special federal program that gives an extra 13 weeks for people in that situation, but that's one of those programs that's set to run out right after Christmas, as is that gig program, and those are the 13 million folks I was talking about who you know are going to be in a world of hurt at the end of this month unless lawmakers are able to agree on some kind of extension. Now, the bill that a bunch of moderate lawmakers introduced last week would include an extension of these two programs through April. So that would provide, you know, a little cushion for people to get us a few more months, and hopefully, you know, till the vaccines start to be more widely distributed and we get some relief from this pandemic. It would also add an extra $300 a week in benefits. You probably remember, Solomon, early on in the pandemic, the federal government was paying an extra $600 a week to unemployed people to encourage people to stay home and stay safe. Right. That ran out in July, and that's left a lot of people who are out of work with less money to pay their bills.
Yeah.
This bipartisan moderate plan would add $300 a week again through April. But then the White House came out with their plan on Tuesday of this week, and it didn't include that $300 bonus. It did include an extension of the emergency unemployment aid, but it didn't include that extra weekly bonus. Instead, the White House wanted to send everybody or most Americans a one-time check for $600.
Yeah.
And, you can certainly see the political appeal of sending $600 to just about everybody.
Yep.
The challenge with that is it means less money for the people who really need it the most.
Yeah.
And of course, if you're out of work, a one-time $600 check is not going to be enough to pay the rent for a few months, whereas the $300 a week would probably be more valuable to you. We also know from economists, they tell us that the unemployment benefits deliver more bang for the buck in terms of really pumping money into the economy, because people who are out of work, if they get the extra aid, they're pretty sure to spend it. They're going to buy groceries and pay the rent and go to the gas station and fill their car up, whereas a significant share of the people who just get a $600 check, if they're still working, they may just put that money in the bank, and it doesn't necessarily do a whole lot to help the economy. So
exactly.
Anyway, that's kind of the tug-of-war that's going on the Hill right now, and we'll see if lawmakers can make a deal. They also, of course, have to pass a bill just to fund the government, and as they often do, they gave themselves an extra week there, so the clock is kind of ticking.
Right, and from what I've seen, they haven't done either. They haven't done what they need to fund the government. They haven't done what they need to have this relief package either, and so both things just kind of left undone. I do want to ask you, as somebody who covers the economy, how unusual is it to see people actually losing jobs during a time of year where a lot of companies are hiring extra help for the holidays?
Well, it's certainly unusual, although, we're seeing less of that holiday hiring this year than we ordinarily would. We got the monthly jobs report for November last Friday, and it actually showed a drop. I think it was 35,000 nationwide drop in retail jobs. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean there were literally 35,000 fewer retail workers in November than there had been in October. What it means is there were 35,000 fewer people hired for the holidays than typically are. So retailers are hiring less holiday help this year than maybe they would in a typical holiday season. They might still be staffing up, but maybe they're hiring one extra person instead of two, or two instead of three. On the flip side of that, we did see a lot of hiring in warehouses and for delivery drivers. And I know on my street, the Amazon truck pulls down every day or a couple of times a day. And a lot of people obviously have been shopping online for Christmas gifts, but just for groceries and everything else too, because they don't want to take the risk of going to the department store. And so a lot of retail sales have migrated online. That's accelerating a trend that was already out there. And so we're seeing fewer people being hired as store clerks, but more people being hired as warehouse workers and delivery drivers.
Yeah, and so what is the outlook? I mean, what are we seeing in terms of whether –
kind of
I'm sorry, Scott.
It was
Scott, I wanted to ask you something.
Sure.
What are we seeing in terms of where Congress might be going with this? Are there any signs that they are looking at, for instance, the plan that was put forth by those moderate lawmakers? Are there any signs that they're going to get a deal before these benefits run out?
That package seems to have the most momentum. It's got bipartisan support in both the House and Senate. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer threw their weight behind it, so that gave it some momentum. The roadblocks, though, are Mitch McConnell, the Senate Republican leader, who's been chilly to it. He's not put his support behind it, and also a question mark over whether the president would go along. So I think that bipartisan package seems to have the most legs right now, but whether it's got enough legs to get it over the finish line remains to be seen.
And in terms of the economy overall, with the vaccine right on the horizon, are we seeing some chance that there might be some movement with the prospects of that vaccine?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think the vaccine. We've seen these really very encouraging results, both from Pfizer and Moderna in their large-scale clinical trials. 90+% effective rates, relatively minor side effects. So good safety and effectiveness. It looks like the FDA is on the verge of approving the Pfizer vaccine, and the Moderna vaccine could get approval another week or 10 days. So there is, I think, a very real prospect that by the spring or the summer, we could be in a much better place. But we've got to get through a very cold, dark winter first. You know, we're still seeing cases, infections, hospitalizations, and unfortunately deaths rising, and that's likely to continue for at least several more weeks, if not months, because it's going to take months to get that vaccine out to enough people to really put a dent in this pandemic. So I think there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is hope. I think this vaccine news is very encouraging and offers a brighter future for 2021. But we've got to get through a few months, and I think it's really important that both people do what they can to protect their health in the meantime, which means, you know, social distancing and wearing masks and all that. But also, we're going to have another kind of lifeboat to keep businesses and families afloat until we can get to that safe harbor on the other side.
Yeah, that is NPR's Scott Horsley. He covers, of course, the economy for NPR, and he's their chief economics correspondent. I really appreciate you joining us this morning on WURD.
Solomon, it's my pleasure.
All right. So we want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. You know, it is so deep, Kawesa, how this thing has just impacted the economy and just shown how fragile things really are. Like, you know, you think, you know, everything is just is okay and it's secure and you don't have anything to worry about and there are all these safeguards, and then you find out there's really not.
Yeah, it's scary times that we're living in, and so, you know, that's why it's so important to make sure that we're looking out for each other. We're supporting each other when we can. I mean, you know, you know someone who's, you know, part of a Black-owned business or something. Support them. You know, do what you can to help them. And when we go through this next phase of lockdown, you know, if we need to kind of throw people a few dollars here and there just so that they can stay afloat, like we need to be able to do things like that. Because we are really kind of in unstable times. But that being said, I know our people, right? I know that we survive so much and we've been through so much and we can overcome so much. So I am not, at least me personally, I am not going to allow for, you know, some of the negativity that is happening out in the world to impact me. I'm just going to continue to keep doing the very best that I can to strive. And I know that our people are going to continue to do the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. So we want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio and let us know where you are in these various things we are talking about on this morning show. Of course, we are poised to have another shutdown of numerous businesses in Pennsylvania. So that's statewide. You know, in order to deal with this spike in coronavirus cases. And so, you know, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for folks, but we can get through it. We have gotten through this kind of thing before, and we will come out stronger. And I think, you know, knowing that we can't necessarily put our confidence in this economy or in a job or in any of these things, man, we have to have confidence, I think, in each other, and I think we have to have confidence in God. And so we will get through. If anybody going to get through, black folk going to get through, we're going to be all right. But I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning show. Abdul Jabbar from West Philly is on line one. Good morning, Abdul Jabbar.
Good morning. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm good. I actually caught the tail end of that conversation when you were talking about Congress and their passing of stimulus package, correct?
Yeah.
Is that what you were talking about?
Yep.
Okay, so it's scary, it's frustrating, but I'm going to tell you something that I saw, an article yesterday printed by the Wall Street Journal, and I'd like to know if this is true, that they will begin trading water on Wall Street.
I don't know.
Now,
I have to check that out. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if that's true.
So I just saw it yesterday. And if in fact that's true, we headed for a world of trouble. That it's like, you know, with all of this stuff going on, how in the world could they? I mean, I know companies like Aquafina, Nestle, those companies are already trading on the stock market, right? But at the same token, to actually say that water will be traded as a commodity the same way oil, gold, silver, and whatnot is being traded, that means that there's some something something amiss that we are not aware of. And at the end of the day, I love everything that Kawesa just said about the resilience of our people. I just like to say that's the reason why we've been studied, because we are such a resilient people. And we just, you know, we can't trust anybody, and I'm still not trusting of this vaccine. But at the same token, what are we going to do? You guys have a good day. Thanks for my call.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for making your call. And you're right. Wall Street is going to begin trading water for the first time. And that is going to be happening this week. They are going to be trading water on the market. So as I learn more about that, I'll share it with you, because I don't know exactly what that means. So I don't want to speak too much on it. But yes, that is true. Let's go to Wonder from Media Online 2. Go ahead, Wonder.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I'm thankful also. My pet peeve is when someone brings in items in a bag, they never take them out of the bag.
When they buy something and they never take it out of the bag?
Yeah, it sits it on the table. Sometimes put it in the refrigerator. You don't know what it is.
Put the bag in there. You don't know where that bag has been.
I'm telling you.
I hear you, man, and I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. We got all kinds of pet peeves, Kawesa, all kinds. So, yeah, bags. I can kind of understand that. So let's go to Cynthia from Lansdowne on line 3. Go ahead, Cynthia.
Hi, Solomon and Kawesa. I'm a Val WRD member and also officer. Look, I'm only calling to say one thing. Lynn Deschelle, she loves the ground you walk on, Solomon, but she's in the hospital.
Who? What's her name?
Lynn Deschelle. She calls you every.
Oh, Lynn. Lynn's in the hospital?
She's in the hospital. She's one of my members. I'm a union officer.
Okay.
But she loves the ground you walk on, so I just asked for a prayer for her. She's not.
Yeah, we are all praying for Lynn.
Yeah.
We're all praying for Lynn.
This virus, I don't know how people are not taking serious with this mess. It's a doer, you know. It's a doer. I'm just hoping that she can get through it like you did. You know what I'm saying? At least she didn't get to the hospital, but she's in the hospital. So, you know, so my prayers are with. I just felt like I needed to call you because she calls you every day. So
how's Indigo doing?
I don't know. You know, I haven't been able to talk to Indigo. You know, but you know, they're like two pieces. You know,
I do know.
Yeah. So just pray.
Okay.
You two pray for her because she calls all the time and she does.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. All right, Cynthia. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, and thank you for letting us know. That, of course, is Lynn from Darby, and we are praying for her quick and speedy and complete recovery. Man, I'm so sorry to hear that. So give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning show. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning show. Of course, you can also weigh in on Facebook at onWURD, and we look forward to your comments there as well. So we're going to go to break, and on the other side, we are going to continue the show right here on WURD.
Jefferson Health offers no-cost COVID-19 testing sites at St. Raymond of Pinafort Church. Testing is on Thursdays and Saturdays. A second testing location has been added at Richard Allen Preparatory Charter School. Testing is on Wednesdays and Fridays. For testing hours and more information, call 1-833-533-3463.
Where can I get free testing for COVID-19?
Where can I get a free flu shot?
How can I get help with my utility payments?
So many questions, so little time.
Let Equally Informed Philly find the answers for you. Just text the phrase equal info to the number 73224. Again, text equal info, one word, to 73224.
Their community info line will get you the answers you need to survive and thrive through COVID-19. Equally Informed Philly, bridging the information divide for all Philadelphians.
This year's been tough, but it's given me a lot of time to learn new skills through the internet.
I've been joining more classes during lockdown.
I'm doing an internship.
I taught myself how to play guitar.
So when people ask,
will I be able to learn online?
I feel like I'm ready.
Internet Essentials from Comcast has connected millions of families from low-income homes to the internet. So no matter what back to school looks like, students can be ready for anything. Learn more at comcast.com/Internet Essentials.
This is not a fad for us.
We will not resume our regular programming when things die down. We're not black to help our bottom line or because it's politically correct. We're not joining a fight. This has been our fight, our message, our people. Black lives have always mattered here. We are
Undeniably,
indefatigably, unapologetically, permanently Black Talk Media.
WURD.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on Word Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and the time is 9:23 a.m. The temperature is 39 degrees. It's sponsored by Beach Company, serving the community for 30 years. For more information, check out beachcompanies.com. That's BEECH companies.com. So we're taking your calls at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are in these various things we're talking about on this morning's show. Pet peeves, that's one of the things we're talking about. So I want to know what yours are. We've had a number of them. Somebody calls in, you buy stuff, you got it in a bag, and you just take the bag and put it straight in the refrigerator. Ooh, yeah, I could see that one. Kawesa said leaving that one dish in the sink. Kawesa, now that you've talked about it, now that you've gotten it out, do you feel any better about it? Do you feel a sense of emotional relief?
No. It still bothers me. My brother used to do that too. I think it's just something that, like, I'm just like, why? You know, my brother would, and sorry, bro, but he would wash all the dishes, right? All the dishes, and leave all the silverware in the sink like they weren't a part of the So I think it's like all trauma. It's traumatic for me. So that one dish.
You see a fork in the sink and you get
flashbacks. I'm like, oh.
I hear you. And you know, it's just, it's crazy. Now, I haven't heard anybody say that the one that I thought somebody would say, like, right up front. And I'm going to give y'all a hint. It was in the movie Harlem Nights. And Della Reese said it. And it has something to do with the refrigerator. But I want to hear from you what your pet peeves are. Did you see Harlem Nights, Kwesa?
I have seen Harlem Nights. It's a good movie.
Funny movie.
It is. Hilarious.
Funny movie. Funny movie. All the best black comedians in it, man. That joint was hilarious. But there's a line, and do you remember the line?
You might have to refresh my memory.
Okay, it has something to do with the refrigerator. It has something to do with the refrigerator. That's all I'm going to say. Because I want somebody to say it, because that's a pet peeve of mine too, right? And a product in the refrigerator and what you've done in setting other folks up. That's all I'm going to say. So I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Of course, you can also weigh in on Facebook at 4WURD. That's FORWURD. That's FORWURD. And let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning show. Janelle from Sicklerville is on line 1. Good morning.
Good morning, Solomon. I got the line.
What is it?
When Della, her name was Vera, and she was talking to Benny, and she said, Benny, why is there no orange juice in the refrigerator? I got my mouth all ready for some orange juice. There's only a swallow left in the container. And the funny thing is, the other day I had to tell my 7-year-old son the same thing. He left the whole bottle in the refrigerator empty, saying, "Oh, I thought somebody else wanted a sip." I said, "There's nothing in here." Then she was fussing with him about the tuna fish. That movie.
That movie was hilarious, man. The way she said container, she was like, "How you gonna leave this little bit of orange juice in the container?" Hilarious. Thanks, Janelle. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you for your call this morning on WURD. Let's go to Brian from North Philly on line 2. Go ahead, Brian.
Good morning, Solomon, man. Somebody beat me to it, man. I had that line because that movie still got my stomach in knots, bro. How you going to leave a swallow orange juice in a container? Quick. But all right,
and people still do it. People still.
Absolutely. Milk, juice, whatever. It's just, oh, man, come on.
Just drink it, man. I'm going to be leaving that little bit in there.
You're right. All right. Enjoy your weekend, brother. It's good.
All right, Brian. Thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. Let's go to Carolyn from Winfield on line 4. Go ahead, Carolyn.
Yes, good morning.
Good
One
morning.
of the things, my biggest pet peeve is in walking down the street and seeing someone hawk and spit in the street or on the sidewalk. Goes all
that's
through
disgusting.
me. Another one is the eating. People didn't used to eat walking down the street, the chicken wings and drop the bones and all of the debris right in the street. And that's why, I don't know what to say. You can see it. It just goes all through you.
I hear you. I hear you. Those are two bad ones, too. And I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD. You know what, Kwesa? I don't mind the eating as much as I do the trash. Like, if you eat and you walk there, take your trash with you. That's all I ask. Just take your trash with you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
You might be on, take your trash with you.
Yeah, no, take your trash. Like, it's gross. And then, you know what's even worse, too? When you got a trash can and the trash is right on the outside of the trash can. That's another one. I'm like, it's right there. It's right there. Is it going to harm you to just place it in the trash can? Right next to it. Just ridiculous.
Yeah, people are trifling, man. People are really, really nasty. And it's funny. That brings to mind one of the incidents that I remember concerning, my neighbors. And one of my neighbors that was involved was Sherelle Parker, right? So we had just got finished doing a block cleanup on the block, right? So these guys come, talk about they going to do a music video on our block, right? They pull up in all these cars, the old police cars that young bucks buy, and they look like, so they come up with all these cars. And one of the cars, it was a woman, and she had 2 kids. So the kids get out. Me and my neighbor standing next to each other. And the kids get out and they got this McDonald's food, right? So they eat their McDonald's food and sat the bags on the street. Like that's what you're supposed to do. I was like, yo, you gotta get that up. You know what I mean? Like, no, you gotta take that with you. And they looked at me like, yeah, you gotta take that with you. You know what I mean? We had just got finished cleaning up our block. Even if we didn't, don't be coming and putting your trash in front of our houses, man. Take that stuff with you. You know what I mean? So then the ringleader comes and he talk about they gonna do a music video. I'm like, nah, who did y'all ask? Could y'all do a music video on our block? We asked the people that live right there. All right, well, let's go right there and see if the people that live right there know what you're talking about. Then Sherelle came up. That's when it was time, Sherelle. That's why I love Sherelle, man. I might disagree on some policy things, man, but I'm telling you, I love my neighbor. She came up and stepped right to the dude. Boy had to be about 6'2", 6'3". Sherelle stepped to him like, nah, you ain't doing this on our block. So I'm out there, and we got him surrounded like, nah, dude, you ain't shooting no music video on our block. Guys in the car smoking weed, all of that. Like, but when she talked about that pet peeve, that's what reminded me of that. It's like, yo, y'all gotta, nah, man. And that's how you gotta be. Like, you gotta, you got cats out here talking about they protecting the block. They don't own nothing. And you own houses and property and you ain't going to protect your block? Nah, I'm sorry. That ain't how it's going down. So I want to thank her for bringing that up because that reminded me of that. Let's go to Olanian from Nicetown on line 1. Go ahead, Olanian.
Greetings. I'm glad I woke up this morning and I heard that you're having people tell you how you pronounce this thing, pet peeves?
Pet peeves.
Pet peeves. Interesting. Anyway, mine that I really don't like and it happens every day, almost every day, that is when you're on an escalator going up, and there are people in front of you going up, and when they get off, when they get to the top of the escalator, they don't turn left or right, they just stand there. And you have to, please, can you let me get out the escalator? And it's also the same way when you're walking up the steps. Some people get to the top and they stop. They don't think the next person behind them wants to get off the escalator or the elevator or the steps. Okay, but that's my pet peeve. So
that's a good one, Olanian. I hear you. People that just won't get out the way. Will Mega from West Philly is on line 2. Go ahead, Will.
Solomon?
Yes.
As soon as you start talking about the trash, bro, listen. City Hall knows me very well about the trash.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I got 4 quick things, and I also have to admit I'm a pet peeve hypocrite.
Okay.
So my 4 things, 1 is litter. 2 is when you litter in front of your own house and you live across the street from me. I pick it up because I got to look out my window and see all that trash. I've knocked on doors. My other thing is when folks double park in front of you, you can't get by, but there's a parking spot right next to us.
Yup. Black folks good for that.
Now, here's my last. This is my pet peeve, hypocrisy.
Okay.
I don't know how, I don't know why, but I admit that I do it, and it is what it is. I hate when you move something around in my house, you pick it up from one place and put it somewhere else, but you don't put it back where you got it from, right? But I never put my stuff back where I got it from.
But you know where it's at, though.
Where it is, right? Yeah, I know it is. But it ain't where it's supposed to be. Like, in my mind, I'm like, it's not supposed to be there. I'm going to put it back where it belongs. But if you come over, you pick up a book or something, then you're in the living room, you walk in the dining room, and wherever, then you put it somewhere else. When you leave, I'm like, that damn Solomon, take that book back. And then I'll be considering whether or not I'll ever invite you over again. Meanwhile,
because you move something
all over the place.
Yeah.
So
I hear you, man. Those are good ones. Those are good ones because I'm like that too. I know where my stuff was at. You know what I mean? And I think all of us kind of are like that. I know my wife is like that. Like, you move my stuff. It was right here, and it's like, well, it was right there with all that other junk. So what? It was right there. Oh man, I want to hear from you. Give me a call. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning show. Of course, you can also weigh in on Facebook at onWURD. That's FORWURD, FORWURD. Kawesa, what are they saying this morning on Facebook?
So we have quite a few folks weighing in here. Shell Wright, leaving a drop of milk or juice in the container. Tia Hicks, yes, who left the empty orange juice container in the fridge? I agree. Leave it empty stuff. So that's another comment. Good morning to Kimberly Ferris. Tia Hicks is also saying, it's the absolute funniest movie with favorite comedians. Very true. And then also Kia Fisher Copeland says, Della Reese was ready to fight. That was such a good scene there. Dolores Davis, good morning. My pet peeve is seeing people throw trash out of their cars. And Walter Davis is saying, who left just a swallow of orange juice in the container? Della was Stellar. And yes, this is my pet peeve, especially if I'm hungry or thirsty for it. Oh, that's the worst. You want to talk about a pet peeve? If you're thirsty and you know that you had a cold glass of grape juice or orange juice and then there's only like a little bit left, or some food that you had your mouth fixed to eat. You was ready. And then there's like a crumb left. Are you kidding me?
I know. And that's the other thing people do, right? Because it's just like the container, leaving the orange juice in the container, that little bit of orange juice. But having something and you got foil over it, right? Like it's some food in there and it's just a little corner. It's just, you know what I'm saying? You ever had anybody do that? Kawesa. All right, so I can't hear Kawesa. She must be answering the phone. So, you got a pan, right? And it was a pan of food, right? And it was like, say it was, I don't know, macaroni and cheese. And it was a pan of macaroni and cheese. And you know you done ate almost the last macaroni and cheese. You done left one macaroni with a dollop of cheese in the pan and left the pan in there like it was some food in there. Ooh. It burns me up. 215-634-8065. Miss Mary from Winfield is on line one. Good morning, Miss Mary.
Good morning, dear, and how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. And this is when my children were growing up and my grandchildren would come visit, you know. My pet peeve is this. Just because there's an empty spot, an empty corner, does not mean that you got to fill it up with stuff. Because my children and my grandchildren, and I'm sure there's someone that can testify to it, I don't have clutter. I mean, we all do, but don't misunderstand. But just because there's a spot sitting there, you ain't got to put nothing there. Leave it empty. You know what I'm saying?
I do. I
do. Pet peeves this morning were great, you know, that I heard. They were just absolutely great. But it's like, come on, y'all, stop playing.
Stop doing it.
Have a blessed day. And
All right.
Happy birthday to you, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Blessed. Okay.
Thank you. All right. And thank you for your call this morning on WURD. Let's go to Tyrone from North Philly on line 2. Go ahead, Tyrone.
Well, peace and blessings, good brother.
Same to you.
And much love and respect to my WURD family. Look, man, this is not a pet peeve. This should be a nuisance law. And the brother said it. When people park, I mean, don't park. When there's a parking spot, all they doing is blocking up traffic. I'll be looking for a police because there's no reason whatsoever that you can be that disrespectful that you have a parking spot right there, but you jump out your car and block up the traffic to keep the traffic from moving. That's my pet peeve. It should be a nuisance law, and folks should get a ticket every time they do it.
I hear you. And that's the same thing Will just said, is that people double parking in the middle of the street, and there's a parking space right there. I hear you, man. And I appreciate your call this morning on WURD. Let's go to Sharon from Philly on line 3. Go ahead, Sharon.
Hi, Solomon. I am a faithful listener of your show.
Thank you.
This is my first time calling you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
But my pet peeve is when you get into an elevator and the designated floor is already pressed and the next person gets in that's going to that same floor, and they keep pressing that button.
That just get on your nerves, don't it?
That drives me crazy. We're already in a coffin. Now you want to keep pressing the button.
Like that's going to make it go there faster.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Solomon.
Thank you, Sharon, and thank you so much for listening. And we hope to hear from you more. And thank you for your call this morning on WURD. Yeah, y'all coming up with some good ones, man. We got to go to break. On the other side, we're going to continue the show right here on WURD.
In Pennsylvania, it's now illegal to sell tobacco products, including cigarettes, cigars, chewing tobacco, vapes, or electronic cigarettes to anyone under 21. Stores can get fined up to $1,000 for selling tobacco to someone who is underage. Know the law. Check IDs. Post your retailer license. Make sure only employees have access to tobacco products, and only sell tobacco products to customers aged 21 and older. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Dietz & Watson has been making premium meats and artisan cheeses for over 80 years. And when it comes to stacking sandwiches and party platters, they've got something for everyone in the family, like maple honey turkey breast, American cheese, buffalo chicken, and more. So get to your local deli and taste 4 generations of family recipes. With Dietz & Watson on the table, you'll have everyone coming back for seconds and thirds. Dietz & Watson, it's a family thing since 1939.
Every day, 47.9 million family caregivers perform labors of love by helping their parents and spouses. Family caregivers help their older loved ones with medications, medical care, meals, bathing, dressing, and much more. While they wouldn't have it any other way, they need some support. AARP has information and online communities to help support caregivers. Learn more at aarp.org/caregiving.
You're waking up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Good morning. Right now on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. And I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD. We're talking about pet peeves this morning. My wife, when she gave me this question, was like, you owe me. All right, Levita, I owe you. All right, it's a good question. What are your pet peeves? And we want to hear about it this morning on WURD, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. I'll give you one of mine. So people didn't used to do this. This is something that's fairly recent. But when you pull your car into a parking lot, take a bag of trash out of your car, sit it down in the space next to your car and pull away. Oh my God, that is so trifling. I have seen so many people do that. It's like, yo, what are you doing? That is so nasty. When did people start doing that? Kawasi, you ever noticed that?
Yes, I have. That's trifling. People,
how nasty can you be?
Yeah, people. I don't know, and you're right. Like people didn't used to do that, but doing it now more and more, and I'm just like, why?
Don't you? And my question is, do you have a trash can at home? Why you can't just take it and put it in the trash can in your house? Why are you doing that? That is so nasty. Oh man. Let's go to Steve from Fern Rock on line 1. Go ahead, Steve.
Good morning, Solomon, and good morning again, Kwesa. Solomon, I just want, is it your birthday, right?
My birthday is actually on the 15th.
Well, I called to wish you a happy birthday. I didn't really have a pet peeve. My pet peeve is like when people don't use the turn signal.
When they don't use their turn signal, yeah, that's bad. And it's dangerous.
And they cross the crosswalk, and they go over the crosswalk. They cross the line. That's no good.
I hear you, Steve. All right, man, I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. Miss Hattie is on line 2. Go ahead, Miss Hattie.
Hi, Mike Solomon.
Hi, how you doing?
Coming to the station, and pet peeve. You woke me up, sound to tell you the truth, so forgive me the way I'm talking.
Okay.
My pet peeve is holding a personal conversation on your cell phone, on public transportation, talking as loud as you can talk. Everyone wants to hear what you have to say.
That's true.
You know?
That's a good one.
and to what you just said about the trash, why can't you just keep a trash bag in your car? You can use a Ziploc bag or your old grocery store bag. Just keep it in your car and put your trash in it when you get filled and you get home, and then throw it in your house trash. You know, it's what's in the mind. It's the way people are thinking these days.
Yes, it's trifling. And I want to thank you for your call this morning, Miss Hattie, on WURD. Let's go to Vernicia from Philly on line 3. Go ahead, Vernicia.
Hi, I have 3 pet peeves.
Okay.
One is when someone turns the light on and always forgets to turn it off. 2 is when someone takes things out of the refrigerator and never put them back.
And just leave it on the counter?
Yes.
Yeah.
And put it back for them. And the third one is when the toothpaste is half out, and then you roll it up. Then say go back behind you and unroll it.
I hear you, and I want to thank you. I want to thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that this morning on WURD.
Bye.
All right. Thanks so much. You know what? The holidays are certainly coming up, and I want to remind you before I forget that if you want to buy black for the holidays, we've got you covered. WURD Radio, proud to present our virtual holiday marketplace online. Support local, small, black-owned businesses through the marketplace and purchase your holiday gifts today. Go to wordradio.com/marketplace or wordworks.com/marketplace. Kawesa, I think toothpaste is an issue.
Yeah. You know, and there's not where, you know, I don't like it when people let it overflow and then it dries up on the tooth, like,
yeah,
be all crusty. We trying to pull it off. Need some hot water, trying to like mold it off of the toothpaste. And then like when I got a little muddy, I was like, I'm gonna get my old toothpaste. I can't.
I know that's right. I put my toothpaste in my drawer. I'm only gonna take it out when I use it.
Exactly.
215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Funny story about toothpaste. When I was on quarantine because of COVID, so I'm in the room, you know, by myself, and you know, thank God there's a bathroom in the room, and I had my own little tube of toothpaste, and you know, I didn't use, of course, anybody else's stuff, but I had my own little tube of toothpaste. You know, I've kept that up after I got off of quarantine. I keep my own little tube of toothpaste. That way I ain't got to worry about nobody rolling it, unrolling it, having stuff on it, none of that. I got my own little tube of toothpaste, and I think that's probably what I'm going to do from now on, Kawesa.
I think that's the plan. I think, you know, that's what you got to do. And, you know, if you really think about it, that's probably the best, you know, thing to do anyway. But, you know, now that COVID, you know, we got to, you know, take better care. But, yeah, no, I don't like to share my toothpaste. And even, like, if, you know, people come over and they're like, oh, man, I left my toothpaste. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you know.
There's some baking soda.
Yeah, like,
that?
you know, use your finger, you know, rub your teeth. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You ain't using my toothpaste. So, yeah.
215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let's go to Brother Brown from West Philly.
Hey, Solomon, enjoying the show, man.
Thank you.
I just got to say this. Everything that everybody said about pet peeves, I agree with. But here's the thing. When my sons were growing up, I don't know was in my household. I want to know who is I don't know. Because every time something was missing, the juice is a little bit of juice, a little bit of milk, somebody ate the last piece of cheese. I don't know. Who is I don't know? Where does I don't know live? I never know this. That was the greatest pet peeve I had. I don't know. And nobody knew anything. That's all I got, man.
Enjoying the show, man.
All right, Brother Brown, I appreciate that call this morning on WURD. He's right. All right, that's the answer to everything. I don't know. Yeah, okay. Who is I don't know? Let's go to Melissa Robbins on line 1. Go ahead, Melissa.
Good morning, Solomon and Quasi. You guys had me laughing so hard. I just want to say, I Brother Brown, but my 2 pet peeves are this. 1, when you're driving down the street and you're approaching an intersection, there's no cars behind you, it's just you, and the car pulls out in front of you. Why can't they just wait until you pass by? There's no cars behind you.
I know. And
my second one is this. You have a rule, no shoes in the household, okay? Everything that's out there does not need to come into your household, but your family feels like they're exempt. Why do they bring shoes into your household, Solomon?
We tried the no shoes thing for a while. It worked for a little bit, but it's now it's just kind of, yeah. That's hard to keep up with. But I hear you. It's a good rule, but it's a hard one to enforce.
Thank you, guys. I'm really enjoying the show.
Thanks, Melissa. I appreciate that, and I appreciate your call this morning on WURD. Victoria from Germantown is online too. Go ahead, Victoria.
Hey, Solomon and Kuwaisa.
Hey, how you doing?
With the,
Thank you.
Question. Pet peeve I have is when you have neighbors across the street who don't bag up their trash, right? They throw the trash individually. And then the wind knocks their can over and blows the trash over here on my side. Yes. And then you look out, trash is on our side. Their side is totally clean. Totally clean.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Put the trash in a trash bag. That's all you got to do.
No, you absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Of course, that's Victoria Green from Amir. Every Murder is Real. We appreciate her work. But she right, though. Like, put your trash in a trash bag. Don't just put it in the can. Because if the can fall over, the trash is all over the street. And you know what else that happens with? Recycling. Man, we've had, like, really windy days around trash day around here. And the recycling is just all over the place. We out trying to pick up the trash and put it back in the recycling. And just put your trash in a bag. Kuwais, I think we've learned a lot today.
We have. We've learned an awful lot today. Yeah, I mean, and you know what's funny is that, like, most of the folks' pet peeves are my pet peeves. I didn't know I had so many, but
yeah, exactly.
I agree with everyone who's been calling in today because they're absolutely correct. Some stuff is just super annoying.
Yeah, and some stuff, what I've learned, because a lot of stuff gets on my nerves, right? But I've learned to kind of let some of it roll off my back. Like, okay, I know that's getting on my nerves, and it's going to get on my nerves worse. I need to woosah right now. Like, I need to relax right now. I need to detach myself from it. I see you keep pushing that button on the elevator like it's going to come faster. And it's getting on my nerves, but I'm going to woosah. I'm going to relax. You know what I mean? I'm going to do a little bit of self-care right now because you are really working on my nerves. So I think we develop coping mechanisms, Kuwais. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. You know, I cope with a lot. A lot of things. And then, like, you just get to that point where it's like, if you smack one more time, I'm going to flip out.
Smack him.
I'm going to throw the chair over.
Goodness.
Yeah. No. Yeah, we cope with a lot. We do.
We do. We absolutely do. So, yeah. So we got a couple of minutes. If you want to call in, you better do it now. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Of course, you can also weigh in on Facebook at onWURD, at FORWURD. That's FORWURD. And let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning's show. Kuwaisa, what are they saying this morning on Facebook?
So a couple more folks weighed in here. Billy Miller, when you let another driver get in front of you and they don't do the courtesy wave, steams me up. Just be polite, shaking my head. And Sharon Edwards goes, right, like you're entitled. Exactly. That's so true. That is so true. Yonda Washington says, coughing in public without covering should be a misdemeanor. So that's another comment.
Now.
Yeah, especially now. But yeah, that, ooh. Oh, and she also says, pet peeve, spit talkers who have food and debris flying all over you using S and T words to tell their long, drawn-out stories, wet lip sink ships. So
that's true. Lord have mercy. Oh, man, that is hilarious, man. Y'all are crazy. Y'all are absolutely crazy. But that's why I love my listeners, man, and I love this show. That's going to do it for today's show. I want to thank all of our guests, NPR's Scott Horsley, WHYY's Taylor Allen, and financial consultant Akbar Hassan. And now, for super producer Kawesa Mathis and everyone here at WURD Radio, I am your host, Solomon Jones, saying stay tuned for The Source with Tiffany Bacon, and tune in Monday at 7 for more Wake Up with Word. Peace.